Yo. It's Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, got to fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to us talk raps. You're listening to us talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk graps. And welcome to another edition of Grapsody. I actually did a count this morning. This is the 21st edition of Grapsody. Can you believe it?
Let's go, baby. We can get in the club now. We can get in the club. Let's go.
I am Will Washington, and I'm not alone here. I'm also joined by Mr. Philip Lindsey.
Man, old enough to drink on the pod. Shout out to Public Enemy Pod, man. Those guys, just because I just thought about my man again, Jizzle just
shout out to
like, yo,
guy. Yeah, that was
shout
man, out. Congratulations to them on that Big Swole interview. Again, that was dope.
And also here, by the way, is Righteous Reg.
Oh, in the building, it's your boy Double R, your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster in the building. As always, it's early. I'm tired. It's life. It's Swerve. We in the building. Oh my God, it's Grapsody.
Yeah.
I didn't know we should have celebrated last week with 20 episodes because that's something, man. We in the building.
Yeah, really. I mean, yeah, it is because I don't know. You just lose track of time, right? Like We've been doing this every week, but all of a sudden we've been doing this 21 weeks. So that's really cool.
It doesn't feel
and
like
I'm
that.
really happy with that.
Definitely been flying by. That's a fact. Everything.
It has been
so crazy.
Well, hey friends. I want to let everybody know that first off, this is Grapsody. It's a show we do every Saturday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. We are right here at youtube.com/Fightful. And also, we've got a lot going on today's show. We got a guest coming up here in just a little bit.
Here?
You likely know who it is because it's on your screen. But gotta get intros and stuff out the way first. So throughout the show, we take your super chats. We're not gonna be taking them during the interview, so just know that. But we are taking your super chats and your humper chats. Humperchats.com is our Streamlabs solution. You can send us your chats that way. We actually get a larger cut of those, so they really help support the show. But super chats come up on the screen and look all fancy. So that's it's really up to you which way you want to contribute to
We like
Grapsody.
money either way, you know.
Yeah, but no matter what, you do help make this show possible.
You can send
and
some
you
coins
help
through the internet, like send them coins. Bro.
Yes. So we've got Ricardo L. Edelohausen says, just send some love. Keep up the good work.
Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.
Thanks for being up early with us.
Yeah,
Probably
Bam.
not early where y'all are. I don't know. People be in it'd be like 8 p.m. where some people are. I don't know.
Bam wants Swerve's opinion on Toby #2 movie. And also Ricardo wants to you send some love for Swerve. We got Malik with my as I tweeted my least favorite use of the word whose because he's a whose house but the wrong whose. Keep the hits coming, fellas. You know what's funny though was I tweeted that about how everybody has the wrong whose. Oh, and Hannah says I'm blurry again. This is gonna be a thing today. But is it really happening right now again?
It doesn't look like that. But,
okay, it cleared up. Okay, good.
Maybe better than us.
Yeah. And I don't know, the connection issues. Hopefully all remains good. But no, it's funny that I tweeted that, right? But I never added any context when I tweeted that people have the wrong whos. So people didn't know I was specifically referring to everybody talking about Swerve. And so it somehow made it over to Grammar Twitter, who people start jumping in. They're like, yeah, I hate it when people get the wrong who's, and it's people who aren't even talking about wrestling at all. It none of this has anything to do with pro wrestling. People are just like, yeah, it's so annoying when people get the wrong who's. You don't mean who is, you mean who's, WHOSE. And I thought that was funny that it made it that way without having without any of the context. Also, that tweet about
some nerds.
that tweet about my kid and her crush and all that, like, somehow made it over to like the funny tweets tab on, because I was wondering, like, why does this have so many likes compared to like anything else I tweet? And somebody pointed out that they're like, yeah, this isn't like the funny tweets section. Like, it's not even that funny. I've had way funnier stories than this.
Listen, it doesn't.
And it's got a typo.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like my man was having fun with that. It seems like he was legitimately uncomfortable. Stop laughing at his pain.
Damn.
No, like
Dad Twitter be going crazy. Dad Twitter is where it's at.
No, honestly, I told the story on Twitter, but I have to tell you guys again for the show. But so the way the story goes is she's going to be so mad at me for even telling this because I'm not supposed to know about this. But my daughter's got this crush on this boy.
Ooh,
sorry, I'm out of here on this.
Too.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, right. And so and like they've been friends since like kindergarten. But I guess this stuff changed. But anyway, so his dad had called me a couple nights ago and was like, hey, can you give him a ride to school the next couple of days? And I'm like, yeah, sure, I can do that. And so, but then I started thinking, man, I know my daughter, she's about to be 11. Like, we're at the age where like I'm going to start embarrassing her. And so I realized that we've hit the age of awkwardness. And damn it, there it goes again,
every
man.
Time.
Every Saturday. Yeah, there it is.
21 times in a row.
Yep, 21 times. So it's like a part of the show now. But so we're driving, and of course, I just listen to music, man. There's so many stations that I can just throw on, and usually I will go with just whatever floats my boat at that moment in time. And so I throw on, I don't know, I think it was just like a 90s station, and we're driving, and then all of a sudden I Miss My Homies by Master P comes on, right? And like, it's just like habit for me when that song comes on to start singing along. And so we're driving, I'm just like sitting in the ghetto thinking about all my homies passed away. And I almost did, right? But then I look over in the passenger seat, and my daughter is just like, and I'm like, fuck, I'm that guy now.
You're that
I'm
one.
officially that guy.
There you go.
And so I'm like, all right, just hit anything else. And then like Doja Cat comes on, and my daughter like kind of discreetly goes, thank you. And like gives me a little thumbs up. And I'm like,
man, you gotta live in it, bro. You gotta be number one dad of the century. You gotta turn it up louder, and you gotta hit that. Come on, let's go.
Nah, you should have turned it up and rapped the entire Silk the Shocker.
Silk the Shocker too. I'm just sitting here days thinking about all the times we had.
She turns
in
the
the
music
past.
off. Dad, Silk the Shocker is where we draw the line. All right.
She just dives out the car.
I can't.
Yeah. So that's
Silk the Shocker slander on Grapsody. We're sorry, Silk, man. You're part of hip hop.
look. You know the weird thing is, I liked Silk when I was younger. I obviously, yeah, you know, it wasn't until I got a little bit older and like realized that he wasn't like on beat at all. But are you kidding me? That Charge It to the Game album, like, I used to listen to that over and over and over.
Okay, see, the thing is, if Silk the Shocker came out today, he'd be a hit. You don't have to rap on beat now. They'd be like, yo, this guy's got bars. But since he came out at a time when you had to really have bars, he's put in a different category. But
hey, man. But he was respected then. He was respected then.
I mean,
he had a song with Hov. He had a song with Jay-Z.
Exactly. He had the whole record, and I just think it's later we listen to it, and it's like, Silk wasn't really hitting like that, man.
Yeah, it wasn't really it.
Yep. Hey, Eloquent says, peace, fellas. Need that Hobbs and Keith Lee program. Looks like it's happening.
I don't know. We don't know. Shout out to Eloquent, man. He just dropped a new project. Bedtime Stories #3, man. Go get that. The homies out there working hard as always. As far as Hobbs and Lee,
I mean, hey, they look like they kicked it off. And you know, they talked about Ricky and Lee's history. Like, hey, there's some cool stuff happening.
I like it.
And also Corey says nothing. Thanks, Corey.
Shout out to Corey.
Appreciate that. We got Rob says grap. Cousin Swerve in here. Flatliners for all.
In the building, big baby. Yep.
Matt says, I'm actually able to listen to the new AEW hip hop album next week. Today, Grapsody is Swerve's house.
Yeah, hey, shout out to every single person that has purchased the album and has been posting it on Twitter, because it's been amazing just seeing y'all say we got the album, we got the poster, tagging Will and I, Grapsody, Phil, everybody. It's been incredible, man. I've been loving it.
Yeah, and also we got we got stuff to talk about, because next week Backdrop's gonna look different again. Although it's gonna sound better, because I got myself a traveling podcast set up, a brand new one. So
I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna feed off the Wills, I guess. Yeah,
we're splitting a hotel room, so basically it's gonna be Phil sitting by himself this time, and then me and Reg.
You guys are gonna share a mic, man? Like,
I actually think that'll work. Yeah. I think that'll actually work pretty well. But yeah, so next week we'll be in Orlando, and next week there's a lot happening because it's Revolution weekend. And so much, because there's a big concert happening on Saturday, the night of next week's Grapsody, and there's a performance headlined by Mikey Ruckus and Montezi, and also Wrestling Flow.
Yep.
But there's other performers that are going to be there. I hear that Reg is doing 2 songs, and
2 songs.
2 songs.
Actually,
I literally was just having a conversation about that.
I'm gonna try not to blow my load on the first one in the building. That's gonna be hard.
So Reg is performing. I can't
believe it.
I will also be on stage, and so this is Grapsody in the building. If you are in Orlando and you want to come see your boys,
please come out.
Yeah, please come out. Tickets aren't that much. Like, honestly, come out. Come out. I got a friend driving.
So much fun. Damn, it's gonna be fun.
One of my best friends is driving down from Tampa, literally just to come see. Like, this is about to be a time. This is about to be a crazy weekend. And you know what? I was honestly kind of mad. I think I mentioned on Day After Dynamite just a couple days ago that I was annoyed that my flight got delayed like 9 hours. It was originally I was supposed to leave at noon, and now I'm leaving at 9 p.m. What the hell am I supposed to do, right? And
you said you're leaving at 9 p.m.?
Yeah, leaving at 9 p.m. on Monday. I was supposed to leave at noon. Now I'm leaving at 9 p.m. But my checkout of a hotel is still at 11. So I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do for 9 hours? And then my boy hit me up and was like, hey, I get discount tickets to Universal Studios. You just want to go? And so I'm like, yes. So now I got something to do Monday. So I'm going to spend Monday at Universal Studios, so it's going to be fun.
And my flight doesn't leave until 10 p.m. too, so.
On Monday?
Yeah.
Oh. So, want to come to Universal Studios?
I guess we're going to Universal Studios. Let's go. Grapsody boys at Universal Studios.
I guess so. All right. Deontay says, the fam is here. Will, Reg, and Phil. I want to say this month been wild for me, but y'all make the end of the week worth it. Congrats on all y'all's success. And also congrats to Swerve for all his success as well. Always love y'all.
Hey,
Mike.
Appreciate that, Deontay, man.
Yeah,
life is crazy as hell. Like, real life is insane. We're all trying to avoid it. So, yeah.
Listen, I spent 2 weeks writing an article that my friends were involved in. It was just like, what is happening right now?
I know that was such a great article. Honestly, check that out for
Phil's
Bleacher
been on
Report.
fire.
Phil,
Pretty much every article he's put out in the last 2 years. Shit.
Such a dope article, and like, and just in general, everything Phil's been writing has been just
thank you,
great stuff.
My guy, always on fire.
It's a great time. It's a really great time. Hey, Mike says my copy of Who We Are arrived literally 2 minutes before Grapsody started. I can't wait to dive in after the show.
Shout out to Mike. That's so fire.
Corey says ain't nobody has been on repeat since Defy. Let's see. Fear Fear and Loathing in NYC says, Reg Appreciation Super Chat.
Let's go. Shout out
have
to
a great day,
Fam
fellas.
Logan. Thank you. I appreciate it so much, man. That's super dope to see.
Ryan says, take the remainder of my laundry coins. Shout out to my boys this morning. Keep it, Graps.
What's up,
Thank
Bad
you
Blood?
so much. Yeah, thank you. And Nathan DePaul says Silk walked so G Herbo
Oh
could
my
run.
goodness, man! You just
Yo.
put Herbo on blast, but I
I
mean,
do Herb like that, bro.
that's what it be like. I'm saying, not it's a lot like that. It's a lot like the game has changed a
Man,
lot.
Silk revolutionized putting 2 Ks in your name. Thanks, Breaker. You're welcome.
Hey,
Still making history out
Hey,
here. Let's
yep.
go.
Deontay says, also, Will, my dude, you're the reason I've been singing this at work with all these lame, flavorless coworkers. Fantasy is my number one. Hey, greatest song of all time. And that is officially where we are at. But hey, we got a lot to get to on this show right here. This is Grapsody. This is what we do.
They're like, bring it on, you guys. What are you talking
Bring it
about?
on.
We want to see what we want to see.
Okay. Well, I suppose we can get to it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And now, to introduce a man I know quite well. He is my cousin, but he's also former NXT North American champion, and he's competed all around the world. He's currently the hottest free agent currently in the business. And he is Swerve the Realist. Swerve, thank you for finally being here on Grapsody. Not for lack of asking, but
Hey,
you're finally here on Grapsody.
like I said, I had to take a lot of time and like save my breath, save my thoughts, save my perspective, my energy till when it was time. Because during those last 90 days, there was a lot of talking, there's a lot of pitter patter chatter. So I was like, I'm gonna lay back, be quiet. When it's time, I'm gonna be vocal. And now, like on the internet and all these blogs and all this social media, I'm the loudest person. So I saved a lot of that content for a reason.
That's funny, yo, though, because during that 90 days, you were very active on Twitter, on social media, just putting out little videos, little teasers, little things to just kind of whet our palate, get us ready for that. How important was that to kind of make your mark while not necessarily really saying anything?
That's the beauty of what we do, and that's something I really gotten. I've gotten very, I would say not masterful, but I've really started figuring things out, and I started controlling the narrative. Get the most out of like producing something and showcasing it without having to say a lot. That's what we do in the ring. So I just took that same concept and just put it into my side ventures and like production and stuff. I watch a lot of film, man, and I don't just like watch movies and like just like go to the movies and like, oh man, that was a great time. I like sit with it. I digest it. I watch YouTube videos and breakdowns of like purposeful things, why things are laid out certain ways. What's this meaning? This color signifies this. Like it's all these things that people don't really like necessarily like they don't understand it, but it's a subliminal being taught to them. You educate. So it's just things I toyed around with and played with, and sometimes it gets the reactions I want. Sometimes there's like a lot of things that I didn't intend to get the reaction, and people are just pulling things out of nowhere that I'm like, I didn't even intend to put out there. So like I said, it gets a lot of reaction without me actually having to tell you. I just let the people talk amongst themselves.
Man,
well, one of the things that you have been, I would say, and you were at work at it beforehand, before the 90 days began, but one of the things that has really come into play in these last couple of months has been the upcoming album, March 18th. Here we have
Tears.
Swerve City. Part 3.
If y'all watching this, y'all want these tees, these hoodies, there's other merchandise as well. SwerveConfident.com just dropped this website 2 weeks ago. It's awesome. They're like selling like hotcakes right now. It's going into summer and spring. Don't care. Get a hoodie anyway.
Let's go.
I was just out in LA last week. Saw you at New Japan Strong Rivals. You took on Jay White. Although the world hasn't seen that yet. They will. I mean, here's the thing. I thought it was funny that they put out the graphic and the silhouette, like, it's mystery opponent for Jay White.
Yeah,
it was like, hey,
Red's hanging.
I'm like, wonder who that
kind
could
of
be.
eliminated a lot of the mystery there because everybody was like, Shane Strickland.
Would it hurt to make him bald?
Use one of them young lion picks on him, man. Come on.
I would have been okay with just making a silhouette of like the Incredible Hulk, and then like, yeah, who
just
could
like
be?
a big ass dude.
Yeah, and then I just come out like, hi guys.
No, but you were because it's funny because being out in LA, it was like when you told me, "Hey, I got a hoodie for you." I'm like, "Hey, man, it's LA. What do I need a hoodie for?" Man, it was cold. I forget, right? Because like LA will give you those like 70, 80 degree days and then just like drop. And
a 40 night.
Yeah. Yep. Right there waiting in the evening. I'm like,
it's that desert cold.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
unfortunate. It's happening right now to me every day in Oakland. So I have to wear 3 different outfits a day because I have to. It's really weird and unfortunate.
And if you're not going to be home all day, you need to bring a backpack, and you got
gotta
all
pack
the
up.
outfits right there.
So I'll come back around to the music in a little bit, but I do want to ask you about what was it like? You were off 90 days. Your last singles match was actually losing the North American title to Carmelo Hayes. And then, there was a gap there for a while of not having a singles match. And then you got to get in there with Jay White. What was it like getting back in the ring again? How did that feel?
Getting with Jay White, first off, like that long hiatus, like I got in the ring and I trained and stuff and like rolled around. I went to like TJ and Natalia Neidhart's school and was like rolling around with them, working in the ring with Dawkins and all that. So like I was never like out of the ring for a long period of time. But man, it's just something about like going against like a high level performer, in-ring talent like a Jay White. This dude's like been IWGP heavyweight champion, never champion, like Triple Crown winner in New Japan, so that's a high level guy. So like just jumping into going like 15, 17, 20 minutes with that guy, that's a shock to your body. So that night I was just like wrecked because my body hasn't like built that callus up yet in such a long time. Like, the last match I really had like on televised was just like a 2-minute tag match on SmackDown, Right. So, by the way, undefeated on SmackDown.
Let's go, baby.
But yeah, like coming out, like so that's like a shock to the body, the joints and everything. I'm only getting older, I'm still in good health, but it's like you get older, those things don't like, you kind of retain that pain a little bit longer than when I was like before I went to WWE at 29, 28 years old. So I got to readjust and get acclimated to the travel, the punishment and the pain, the conditioning of like wrestling in London and then taking that altitude all the way to Florida, which is lower sea level, than going back to Cali and then Seattle. That's like your lungs are doing this like heavily in each area. So a lot of fans don't understand how much like you have to really adjust to getting back in the independent scene. It's not just like, 90 days are up, we want to see them like go 30 with Bryan Danielson like that. No, that's not that easy. Hold on now. So so when you see guys like a Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole, those guys didn't have 90 days. They just kind of like, and their contracts expired, and they just went right to getting on it. So they never had that down period. Those guys can stay on that elite level. For guys like like Morrison, you see his videos on Instagram. He's like training his body to he's doing all these crazy acrobatics, all these crazy like muscle dynamic control things, and that man's in his 40s, like with his joints and all that stuff. That's like him coming back to and also going to AAA. Right. That's a high caliber. It's like tough. That's a higher work rate. It's like you got to do a little bit more than usual because you're getting older. Your body's already, you got to acclimate. And like Mexico, altitude comes into play. So those are a lot of these little elements I'm just slowly working on. Like, I figure that out. All right, we got to work on this. Got to train this in the gym. Got to get this. But you feel it, and then you work and adapt as you go.
Right. So like right after, funny you said, talked about it a little bit. Right after that New Japan, you shot right over to the UK to work for Progress Wrestling. How was it being back over there? Because you had built a big following before you had went to the WWE, and you were one of the premier American guys going over there. So them having you back, they were really excited to have you back. How was it over there?
And that's always interested me, by the way. I just want to say real quick that like the idea that you have built such a following over in the UK and like in Ireland especially, like you got these Irish fans that are just like crazy for Swerve. That it's such an interesting phenomenon to me, and I watch it happen. I watch people on Twitter who just like patiently await like any of those promotions, Progress, OTT, like all that stuff. They're like, oh my god, can't wait for Swerve to come back over. Like what?
I culture these folks, man. You know, they were like, I come out to Ain't Nobody. They're like, yeah, I love Anita Baker. I'm like, whoa. What are we talking about? So, you know, but like that's like I'm happy to have that, you know, that kind of connection, and that's the beauty of like I think that's what separates me from a lot of these. Like a lot of these guys that like, jump back and forth and stuff, like going all overseas, going all over the world, traveling back and forth. There's a lot of guys that they appreciate their work style and their matches and the athleticism and stuff. And that's great, you know. And then like they go away, but like, oh, okay, cool. But like when they come back, it's like, oh yeah, I want to see your match again. But for me, I feel like I had a special connection. I connected with these people. They like genuinely miss you. You know, they miss me when I was away. They miss when they're anticipating. Like there's people that have my name tattooed on their arms over there. It's like a different type of connection, and you know, because I feel like I'm on my entrances. It's not just me just walking to the ring and just dancing and like, you know, posing. It's me giving myself to the audience, and they are receiving it. It's like it's a trade. It's a dance. You know, like I vibe with them, they vibe with me, and we connect on a different level. So they already appreciate and like. Before I even get in the ring, they already feel something for me, and that's something I like always wanted. That's when I realized I turned the corner on becoming a wrestler and from a wrestler to a performer. I was performing, and some people use that as like a really taboo word in wrestling. Like, oh, he's a superstar. He's a performer. I'm like, no, that's what we do. We are performers. We watch other performers. Level. On every level. It's like we watch other performers to adapt those things into performing. We do it in a wrestling base, and that's the core of what we do is professional wrestling, but it's a performance and we're performing. So like I watch other great performers, you know, so that's what I wanted to always bring everywhere I went. It's just like the whole atmosphere changes when I come to that's my match. Like, oh, cool. Wait a minute. We gotta sit and watch and bask in this. That's like but that I really understood that when I'm going overseas. And like going to Progress, it was the same thing. It's like time stopped for 3 years, and then I walk back in. It's like, yep, right back to where we left off. And like it's just hearing people like say I listen to your podcast and watch all this stuff all the time, your music videos, all that. I'm like, man, over here we have a reach, man. Me and Montezi and the Swerve City team, you know, are doing something, you know, because that's once again that connection.
Man, that's so interesting you said that, because the first match I've ever seen you in was a Defy match. And I would say that off that entrance, like I definitely get what you mean. I mean, when we saw Ain't Nobody the first time in that Defy match when you first came back, I don't know if you remember, I quote tweeted and said the vibe is back, and that's so coincidental that you said it's a vibe, because it for sure is. Yeah,
but like now coming back from a couple weeks ago, like or last week I should say, just coming from that, like I didn't want to, I wanted to keep the same vibe and the same energy, but I didn't want people to see me as how I left.
Right.
When like 3 years ago, I was like still like I'm in my 20s. I'm like the Travis Scott type vibe. That's what you know, the ASAP kind of vibe and stuff. The Kid Cudi is kind of like I'll mesh up all these things with that. Now I'm coming back. I'm older. I'm an adult. I'm like now it's like a little darker. I'm a little like more poised. I walk with I feel like I'm walking on water and everybody's beneath me type of presence.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not like to be arrogant. It's just it's a different vibe. It's like turning the dial this way opposed to turning it all the way that way. Right. Like I want you to feel a different way. You don't know exactly what it is, but you feel it. you know, and I didn't even wrestle. I didn't put my hands on anybody, you know. So now you're anticipating what happens when I actually do. You already have like a preset emotion and feel before the bell even rings. And that's what I wanted. I feel like I accomplished that goal that night.
You definitely did. It's funny. I talked about this with ACH. Now you re-entering into the independent scene, you're taking on a kind of veteran role now. There's some 16-year-old wrestlers in some of these locker rooms that you're going into. So there's some wrestlers that have watched you coming up. So they're coming up to you asking for advice. How does it feel to take on a veteran's kind of role in the locker room, in pro wrestling in general?
I value it very highly. Because like I'm seeing like even like going being at Terminus and stuff, there's a lot of young guys, and I'm seeing Leon Ruff like opening the show and stuff, and seeing like my experience with him, and then like a lot of these guys, like I'm doing seminars now, they're saying like, yo, like I got into wrestling because I watched you versus Leo.
Exactly.
And I'm like, that's incredible. That's
crazy.
But that's not that far away. That's like that was only like 4 years ago. That's like not that long. So these guys are like 4 years wrestling since that time frame. So like that's cool, but I don't want y'all to see me now as of how you saw me then.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't want that same vibe. You don't want to see Dr. Dre doesn't want to be seen as like the chronic one.
I got you.
You know, and he wants to be like he's here now, you know what I mean? So it's the same thing. Like but seeing these young guys,
like you're about to have this match with Nick Wayne, and he's
16 years old, man, 16-year-old phenom. Seeing these young guys, at this point, it's the evolution of like athleticism and sports all around in entertainment. Everybody's understanding and getting it at a younger age, and like not even just like, oh, I get it. No, they like got it. Got it, man. You know, like they get the structure, they get the crowd control, they get the body control, they got the rhythm. It's just so many different things. They got it, but I haven't felt them yet. You know, I want to feel some of these guys, and that's going to take time to get it. You know, like you do have special occasions where like you feel an MJF, you feel him, everything he does, everything, week by week, you feel something new, different, organic. You feel him. He's got that down. So that's a rare like occasion. Will Ospreay at 27 years old, you feel him when he's in that ring. You feel his entrance. Just like those are just phenomenons that you just can't explain. Even Leo, shout out Leo Rush, you feel that guy. He's a presence. You know? Yeah. So that's my goal from like reaching to these younger guys. Yeah. Like there's a presence when I walk in to face you in the ring. There's a presence. Match that or try to reach it. That's a story in itself. Can he? Even if he fails, that's not a bad story. And I want to tell these guys, like, there's nothing, you're not doing anything wrong. There's no wrong answer in wrestling. Like, oh, what's the name's doing his move? Oh, he's doing his move. I'm like, yeah, he should do the shit. Like, that's how they're learning. Right. Like, I'm pretty sure Allen Iverson wasn't telling young kids like, don't do the crossover. No, they were doing the crossover. but then like they were adding to it. Now we're getting like sham gods, and like we're getting like double behind the back. We're getting curry slides because they're adding to what they already know, and that's the evolution of things. So like a Nick Wayne does the springboard cutter, like the Oz cutter and stuff. I'm like, yeah, do it. You should do it. But after a while, he's going to be like, you know what? I'm changing. I'm growing. I'm getting older. I'm going to change up something. I can't do that anymore because he's going to learn it. But I don't want to be the old geezer to come and be like, yeah, that's Ospreay stuff. Don't do that.
The old head. Here he comes. The old head.
That's my homie over here. Like, don't do that. Like, I'm seeing people in death matches do the house call, or, you know?
Right.
Like, I'm like, oh, cool. Do it.
It's the evolution of wrestling. Everybody's going to use everything.
Yeah, and you should. You need to learn how your body works in those moves. You need to understand like how like your body's going to react, how to control it. That's how I learned it from doing Ricochet shit. I learned it from doing Swan stuff. Right. I learned it from doing like ACH stuff, Gargano stuff, Cole stuff, Sammy Callahan stuff, Riddle stuff. I learned it from being with those guys, coming up doing that stuff, you know? But then I started like tweaking and learning and maturing, and now started evolving, and then I started adapting and doing my own thing. I still do Austin Aries stuff, you know, but like that's my advice to them. It's like, okay, cool, keep doing that stuff. Do it. Get comfortable with it, and then once you're comfortable and you're confident with it, you're going to adapt and like want to change up in anything, because now you're going to feel confident to do anything else, and then you're going to be smart. Your brain's going to just adapt over time and evolve. And now you're going to create something whole new from this origin.
Okay. I have to at least address a little bit of an elephant in the room, because as people can see to my direct left on the screen, there's a big Fightful logo. And of course, there was a story that broke on Fightful. I'm not going to ask you about that. And I'm not going to ask you about that because why the hell would I ask you about that? I know what you're going to answer. That said, I've got a different question, kind of as it pertains to whatever that may be. And that is, whatever the next run is for Swerve the Realist, what is it when that run is all said and done? Whatever it is, wherever it is, whoever it's with, when it's all said and done, how would you want to look back on that run? And what would you like it to be?
I want to feel like I've changed a narrative of how I want to change the narrative of the value of a in-ring talent, because there's a lot of value put behind match quality, which is good. It's great. It's amazing. We need to be good at what we do. We need to be top performers. But there's this hierarchy that's set that you have to meet this to be considered one of the best or the top tier, and that's not the case. You know what I mean? It's almost like we compare to basketball. Everybody in here is a basketball fan. Most people are. That's like saying, to me, it's like saying, if you keep it like that, if you keep it that hierarchy like that, then centers can't be considered best in the world. It's always going to be shooting guards. Like, because how we look at how would they view basketball, it's like, oh, the best players in the world are the scorers. I'm like, generally true. But Jokic just won MVP.
Right.
So that's a narrative that's changing, that like, oh, the best scorer necessarily isn't the best in the world. It's the best all-around performer. Like, if you look in the NFL, Tom Brady is the greatest of all time, right? But Odell Beckham Jr. is the most followed athlete in the sport,
right? In
the NFL. You know what I mean? Like, because it's not just the stats. It's not just that's a subjective. It's very subjective. Like, what is a star? What is a top? Like, is it the stats? Is it the performance? Is it the appeal? There's so many different elements that go into it, but I feel like this grading on the scale is the same criteria,
right? And
it's the same lane, and then it's moved constantly for certain people because they don't do necessarily this. They don't necessarily perform this rate. So therefore, no, we can't put them in top 10. No, we got to move them top 50. No, we don't talk about them on a weekly basis. I'm like, okay, but this person provides way more than what this person's doing.
Right.
I'm not taking anything away from them. But if you're going to start grading this, we got to start putting them in the same lane. Overall appeal, you know. If you want to go by that, Brock Lesnar is the best in the world.
He's number one. If it's that, yeah.
If we want to go by that, and then like Bobby Lashley, top 5, but that's not the scale. That's not how we move it. So the narrative is about this. I'm going to be the one to really change the narrative from what I'm about to do. Things that I'm like, because I just sit back and I'm quiet a lot of times. You don't really hear me critique, put my opinion out on this show. If I do, it's positive, and that means it's like, that really stuck out to me. You know what I mean?
And that's even super rare in your case.
Exactly. You know? Like the last thing I tweeted about a positive match was like, I loved Gunther and Ryder Strong are killing it on NXT. You know? because I genuinely felt that way when I went to Gunther. Yeah, shout out Gunther, shout out Walter, you know. But like, you're not really seeing me like so. Like, I'm patient and I'm quiet, and I let everybody have their turn. I let everybody talk their shit. I let everybody change the goal, move the goalposts left and right for all these guys that are doing all like. And shout out to a lot of these dudes because they're all my friends. I love them to death. I still talk to them. I shout them out. I praise them. I show them because it's their time. Why wouldn't I do that? It's their time. Go showcase what you're doing to the best of your ability. Go do that, and I'm gonna be there. Like, I'm gonna be there. Yeah, do your thing. You're doing your thing, homie. But when it's my turn, keep that same energy.
Let's go.
When it's my turn, when it's Swerve's turn,
keep that same energy.
Come on.
But I'm doing something that's different from you at still a high level. Y'all better change. Y'all better keep that same criteria, and my name better be slotted somewhere in there. That's all I'm saying. That's where I want to leave behind. I'm gonna change. I want to change that narrative that is put out there, especially for people of color in this industry, especially.
Yeah.
Because I really feel like what I'm about to provide is something that, once again, hasn't been done. I've done it many times on many other contracts and wrestling television programs, and people seem to constantly forget that. Like the fact that me and Dante Fox have never had a 5-star match. Okay, cool.
We've all seen the match too.
Yeah.
But that also changed the narrative for the television show.
Yeah.
Either up, like, you know what I mean? I changed that then.
Mm-hmm.
That was in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
NXT. Oh, cool. Swerve's doing his thing. He's not putting on his cruiserweight championship. He's not. They're not. Yeah, he's doing his thing, but he's like kind of. He's doing this. All right, cool. Changed up some stuff, made people uncomfortable. Didn't understand what was going on, and boom, Hit Row emerges. Wrapped on a cipher. My podcast goes to the WWE Network. Never been done before. Independent podcast with my friends that we did it. 5 people, me, CZ, Mike, Cy, and X, all together did that in here in this room and got it on the WWE Network. First episode, Drew McIntyre's WWE champion. Okay,
Let's
cool.
go. Speak on
Didn't change that narrative. Got it. Cool. Did a hip-hop cypher on NXT National TV, USA. Never happened before. There's been rap performances, but there's never been a cypher, but we did it both. At the same time, 4 people in sync, a female involved. Boom. Never been done. Okay, cool. Change the narrative. Now, coming back out here, people always said, like I have the track record to prove it, but it's not talked about. So I'm like, okay, cool. I got to do it again. This time, I raised the bar again. I'm going to raise the bar again. You can quote me here saying that. That's how confident I am about my abilities, my team that I have involved, everybody, because it's not just me. It's my team, my Swerve City team, my management team. Like, it's not just, Swerve is not just me. It is a brand. It is a crew of people that help run this stuff. And I have people in LA that I've connected with. And I had 2 trips to LA, 15 days there. I got a crew developing over there. That's a team because they believe in the same thing. They believe in the same thing that I believe in, and we just mesh very well. And these are top industry people. So when it's a team, I can't take the credit for that. Swerve is not just me. That's what realist is. I am being 100% real. Like,
that's
it's
hard.
about to get spooky. That's why I say spooky season, because it's about to get
spooky. It's about to get spooky. Hey, speaking of which, though, let's bring it back around because being with the new name Swerve the Realist, we have a 3 in there, and you talked about just a couple of days ago that a big part of the reason that you've got the 3 here is that this is the 3rd go around for you. This is the 3rd iteration that we know of Shane Strickland, Swerve, Isaiah Scott, however you want to know him. This is it. This is Swerve the Realist.
I remember Ballhead off the CZW Big Box Swerve. That's
new flavor
that's a long
shit.
time ago. I'm saying.
New flavor shit, man.
But also speaking in 3s, let's talk about the album because this is Also, the third go around for Swerve City.
That's coming out in March.
Yes, and it's coming out in March. Look at that. Just threes all around. March 18th.
For the whole team.
Yes.
March 18th. I think
March
before
18th.
we go all the
What?
way into that the music thing, I kind of want to bring it around to how you got to the music because before you went into the WWE, the character that you had, I'd say like the character you're using in MLW, you were kind of leaning towards where you are now, but you didn't really have that thing. And so over time, I talked to TZ about this. We've kind of watched your evolution as a rapper, pretty much. Like we've watched you from like I'm gonna do this until like I'm doing this. So, kind of showcasing your whole time to the world. How is it to debut as a rapper when you've already kind of built some notoriety in a different lane? How was it kind of getting the reception from like fans and such to not Swerve the wrestler, Swerve the rapper?
That was like a challenge because I didn't want to. If you notice, like every album, you're about to see this on the next one as well. None of it had to do with any wrestling.
Right.
I had to change the narrative that I don't need to hang on to wrestling to like push my music career. You know, and like being around TZ built that.
Shout
confidence.
out to TZ.
Shout out my TZ, man. Like he just put out July 6th, man. Freaking Erica
Sun too.
He's working so hard. I can't believe how hard he works.
I talk to that man every day. We have a conference call every day about something. So I had like 3 of them today with him.
He was in my DM too. That man is working hard. I'm telling you, man. He is working.
Yeah. But that's the beauty. We push each other because like we just got home at 6:30 this morning. You know, like on the road 6 hours from Atlanta driving because like I'm going to do it. Are you going to do it? Yeah, I'm doing it. You doing it. So we do it. Like I know I'm going to do it. I know I'm going to get it done. That's going to push him to get it done. And he knows that he's going to get it done. That's going to push me to get something done. So that's what that camaraderie was in the music as well. Especially like his talent is immense when it comes to lyricism and just music creating in general. Just like not just rapping, just the way he just like composes the music, the way he's just like, I was in awe of him being in the studio the first time, and it felt like a mountain to try to reach up to that skill level. Like, how do I do that? It was intimidating, but he came down to a certain level to build that comfort level with me. So he kind of like picked me up as we climbed the mountain, you know.
He's very encouraging.
Very, very, but he was also honest as well. He was also honest and real with me about it. So I took it serious. We have the setup and we have the thing, but this is like an emergency reporting thing. Like if we're here, we do it. But I drive to Tampa, an hour and a half, 3 hours total round trip to record all these albums, every session, like every other week, like because that's the one I'm dedicated. I wanted to get better.
On top of being a pro wrestler.
On top of managing that, you know. So like I wanted to get better. There's too much time in the week. Like I have it, so I'm going to utilize it. You know, especially during pandemic, we created 2 albums in 1 year during pandemic, and you know what I mean. So, like, but back to your question, it's just like just changing I had to get away from rapping about wrestling. I didn't change my persona. I just changed my demeanor, my topic.
Right.
Like, so I had to talk about certain things that you don't know that I've already put out there in the wrestling world. You know what I mean? So, and then finding these and then going through inspirations of people that I listen to all the time, like the Gambinos, the Tyler Creators, the ASAPs, the Kendricks.
You shouted out Jid today.
JID, man, that man, you know, and it's a lot of these guys I'm a degree away from knowing.
Right.
So that's interesting in the music.
That's super. You did a lot of work with Flatbush Zombie, so that's
they inspire me every day.
Yeah.
Like I talk to Juice every record I make, every concept I send it to Juice, and Juice gives me a clean feedback. You know, I send it to Eric Elliott, the architect. I get feedback from the guys, and these are guys that are composing, like doing it big.
They're huge, doing
it big. I send it to Nick Caution, who's does records with Denzel Curry and Joey Badass. Yeah, you know, these are my council of guys I can go to. I can go to Donnell Jones. which blows my mind. You know,
That's
like
crazy.
You know, so this is like the camp is deep. John Connor, Slim Shady, a Shady Aftermath artist. You know, these are like, so how can I not get better with the team? Like I preach that all the time. I have a team. Like it's not just me getting better. No, it's people that are bringing me up and pushing me and guiding me in the right direction. Like if I would have started trying to rap at like 19 with no team and I'm just getting in some dude's closet just doing this, I wouldn't be where I'm at like that quick. No, I'm blessed to have like a great assortment of like music knowledge guys, Grammy winners, writers, you know, dudes that are like performing on Rolling Loud, you know, like that tour the world, that are great at this. They made millions doing this. Those are the people that are like assisting me and pushing me and like making sure like, this doesn't sound right. Oh, get the levels right here, the EQs and like just leveling me. And like, it also keeps me humble because that's such another height I got to climb to. Like, I want to get to John Connor's level. I want to get to a Mickey Fax who's like spitting like a mad scientist on the same record with him, you know. And he likes my work too. He's like, you know, and then like a music
somebody that works side by side with Lupe Fiasco, you know. So
and Royce, like he's blowing Royce off the tracks. You know, like these are great, the all-time great lyricists.
Right. Yeah.
Like I have to get better. You know,
man,
like
you mentioned Rolling Loud though, man. Like I was so disappointed that you guys didn't get the chance to get that Rolling Loud spot next year. Like I thought for sure when Rolling Loud happened and you guys were moving up to SmackDown, I was like, all right, man, Hero's gonna be at Rolling Loud next year. That should be the move.
Oh, ball missed. Surprise.
I didn't want to say.
I mean, I know, but I was hoping, you know, if people have watched that show, I think a point of
you know who did go to Rolling Loud? Otis. Exactly,
my guy. Great point because man,
shout out Otis, I love you, bro.
No, shout out Otis, but that's funny.
That is hella funny.
Like, yo, what is Otis doing here, bro? These people don't know who anybody is. Like I said, it should have been John Cena and Jeff Hardy in a match because everybody would have known who they were. Like, everybody at Rolling Loud would have been like, yo, we know who John Cena and Jeff Hardy is. It's lit out here. But you know,
like
things happen.
Yeah, like think of the inverse of that. Like if like country music television is doing a show, you're not going to send us to like get on stage with Garth Brooks. No,
exactly.
Right, you're not going to do that.
It's not going to work like that. They're going to send out Elias wherever he is.
They got to send out security too. So like I want to talk about with the album. So this being the third go around. And we've seen a lot of maturity, as we just talked about, of you as an artist and as a rapper. And with you and Montezi as a duo, I've heard some pieces of this album already. And I've said to you personally, I'm going to say the same thing that I said to you personally, that this feels like, not to say there was anything wrong with what you guys were doing previously, but it feels like the foot is all the way on the gas this time around. Talk to me about what is going to make this the album for Swerve City.
Well, this is like the most like we also get a little bit more adult heavy and explicit with a lot of things. We've always like discussed like on Right Back and GPS album, we discussed like relationship issues and it's like also it's interesting, like we discussed the relationship issues in like that track, but Teezy's talking about my relationship issues. I'm talking about his, but we're talking about the same type of things, you know? So like, there's a lot of like scenario flipping if you pay attention. And then Right Back is the sequel to Right, you know? So like from the first album in Humble Beginnings, like Right is talking about like I'm right. No, I'm justifying you're right in the argument, you know, and like doing all the bad things, like storming out, throwing stuff. Like, no, I'm justified because I'm right about this thing. And then Right Back is discussion like, you know what, I was wrong. Let's get back together. You know, like I was tripping, you were tripping too, but let's find a way to make this out because we love each other so much. So there's sequels to like a lot of these tracks. So you kind of have to listen in order to rewind and go back to them. Like GPS is a journey, a story. You hear there's skits in it and all that stuff. So we're going somewhere. We're just like, but we're not telling y'all the destination. We're just keep going and driving and stuff. And then throughout that album, you're hearing us listening to from humble beginnings. So these albums weave between one another over and over and over again. So it's like a trilogy. It's like very Tarantino-esque.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the same universe as that one. This is in the same universe as here. This is in the same universe. But they're like these little character elements in these discussions that we have that are like, they kind of have continuity going through. So Tears is like the most mature out of all of them. So like the other two were like edited, like we didn't use a lot of foul language. This one we get a little more derogatory, like it's matured. So has our sound.
Fed.
Well,
the PG police ain't watching no more.
Well, we was going to release it anyway, you know.
Right.
but now, like we're now like with those same like topics. Now we're going into the next depth of it. So like we had the discussion we're making up. Now we have on Tears, we have Slow, which is how I'm going to make up to you. We have, it's like essential, like, I'm the freak, you with the freak I was seeking. They keep me weak on the evenings, get no sleep on the weekend, between needs to be leaking. When we meet on no green, because the bed city squeaking got me harder than semen. She working hard for my semen. You know, there's a lot of, we're going there now. Mm-hmm. This is how I'm making it up to you. This is how I like to make love to you. This is how, like, and then Teezy's like, hey, like, you know, Jada Little Freak always want to go up and down on my meat because she's like he's like going in there talking about all the other girls that he's done the same stuff with. Mm-hmm. Then we have features, girls talking about doing it with other girls. It's like it goes there, you know. Mm-hmm. So that's just one record. That's like it's like I said, we're weaving in between all these other albums and these tracks. The features, we just had Music Soul Child put on it.
Yep.
And like we just recorded last night, going to master that this week. Get that out, man. It's like, and just be in the studio with him till like 3:30 in the morning, him just be passionately singing, and just like into it. He's like, he's like, by the way, I've never done a track like this before. So y'all the first guys ever getting something like this. This is literally what he said. Mm-hmm. He's never like doubled his own vocals with like his rapping and stuff like that. So he's doing some experimenting. But he was just like, man, I was zoning, bro. I was zoning. I felt this one. And I wrote these songs. Right. I wrote these concepts. Teezy like rapped his heart out. Then I followed Teezy's lead on the other joints that we're doing. Like this is a magical project, bro. Beautiful. It's magic. I can honestly say it's magic. Like John Connor comes in and on Currency, like ain't no need in going to half cock because Connor could go the whole 9. Like we're just sitting in the studio like, oh my god, what are we doing? And we're just pushing each other. So you get bars there, you know. Then you got freaking shout out British and Kane over in the UK providing a verse on Famous Last Words. Rich Lotta rapping the hook on it, and Big Homie Rich stepped his game the hell up this album with this production. I praise this man on the highest mountains. This dude because like once again we're a team. If I'm stepping up, you got to step up. He's stepping up, he got to step up. And Rich stepped up and all just the way to the and now you're seeing it firsthand with the AEW project, man.
Let's go, baby.
Let's
go.
Reg.
Oh, let's go.
Like I said, and it's funny how like all this was happening, and I'm in NXT, but like all these little relationships are forming on the other side of it. You know, like and then Teezy's
like we can't really talk to him. He's over there. We don't know what's going on.
Yeah, but I'm still working, and like meanwhile Teezy's on like doing Sammy Guevara. Big Swole's interest, but he's also on the WWE Network with the Swerve City podcast. So like we were sneaking people through the back door, like
y'all were. Honestly, y'all were already bridging the gap, like I mean, from the beginning, right? Because like Wednesday Night War kicks off, right? But then at the same time, Swerve City Podcast is going, and all of a sudden we got Swole, we got Teezy, and we got Swerve all on one show here, and all these other people, all these fans are talking about blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that, and y'all are just like, nah, man, we're making moves over here, and we're gonna continue to make these moves.
Like if we can do this. Like if up down down, the party can have Cesaro, Cole, like Tyler Breeze, and freaking Austin Creed. Why can't we have ours? We're not talking about them. You ain't talking about us. We talking about other shit. There's other stuff in the world than wrestling. Like it's crazy. It's like
And
it's just so just to put a cap on this Tears album thing, man. It's a magic project, dude. Like we put a lot of effort into this thing, like going back and forth, driving, traveling. Like I just can't wait for everybody to be so receptive of these music videos that we popped out. Like
the videos
are fire. The production has went
videos.
on every level, including the music videos.
That was also the next challenge was like, how do we step up in the music videos? Because if you watch Broke Boys all the way to I'm the Man, all the way to freaking Dope and Haters, all the way to Starships. Now we got, what did we put out? Big Sis Birthday. Yeah, we still have 2 more videos we got to drop. We still got to drop Digits with AJ Frank on there. Mm-hmm. That's a whole movie.
Right.
And then we got Tears, the song coming out that's going to drop on the day Tears drops. So you don't even get that. So we still got stuff we got to unload, because I want y'all to appreciate the effort that went behind this project with the music, the videos, the production, the talent that's coming in, the other talent, the big name talent that's believed in it so much that they provided the service to jump on with us. You know, all-time great talents, man, all industry level, high industry level talents that just believe in this project. Legends, like Music Soul Child just came off of doing verses against Anthony Hamilton, then dropped a music video and song with Earth Gang, Amen. Then the following week jumping on the project with us with Tears and on and Not My Fault.
Listen, man, y'all asking this man about wrestling.
If that don't sell it, I don't know what else to say. Y'all
asking this man about wrestling. He in album mode, bro.
I'm saying,
I don't care about a freaking arm hold, man. I don't care about your sleeper hold.
No, you know what though? What I love is how far it's all come. Right? That like if we were talking about wrestling and hip hop, I'm shuddered to even like utter this sentence, but like we talk in the 90s, right? We talk wrestling and hip hop. We got Hulk Hogan in the wrestling boot band album. We got Randy Savage talking about Be a Man, although in hindsight, Be a Man was kind of dope.
Fire,
but
don't sleep on Be a Man, though.
Yeah, but like as you know, one of the things that one of the words a lot of people like to use these days is authentic, right? That we have reached the point of authenticity, and we've reached the point where, as you were mentioning, wrestling or hip hop and wrestling don't necessarily have to center around each other. That you can do an entire 3 albums that don't talk about matches. Like
I'm not promoting a match through my song.
Right. Yeah.
There's not a wrestling bar on this whole album, dude.
That's dope.
Not one.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love how far that's come.
Right. Yeah. But speaking of music, anytime you say this man's name out loud, when you got released, anytime they say Swerve and the independent wrestling scene, you can't say your name out loud without somebody saying, "Ain't nobody." What about ain't nobody? What ain't? Dude. You can't. Your name is surgically attached to this.
Like shout out to Wrestling Purists. They made a post and literally I screenshotted it. Every comment on it is "Ain't nobody." Are we gonna hear "Ain't nobody"? People posting Shaka Khan gifts. It's like, hey, where's "Ain't nobody"? Every single comment on down.
Yeah. And that's funny because we talked a little bit about how you said you wanted to be different on this new run. You didn't want to be attached to the old you. So how was it? Were there points where you were like, I'm not gonna use "Ain't Nobody"? I'm moving on. I'm doing something different. What kind of role did "Ain't Nobody" play? Because that's all anybody ever talks about. Swerve is crazy.
I mean, I used it for Terminus.
Right.
You know, they allowed it. New Japan wouldn't allow it. And Progress wouldn't allow it because they're still like going on to WWE Network and stuff. Right. So sidebar, I snuck my way back on there.
Right under the gate, bro.
Rid of me, huh?
I'm back and all that. So, but at this point, man, like I said, this is a different version of me. I don't think I need "Ain't Nobody."
Right.
You know. So I need to get away, just
I want you to say it out loud so everyone can leave us alone.
Yeah, shut the hell up, man. Because I can't own it.
Right,
I love it, but I can't own it. This is
and you're a rapper. Like, why would you have another person's song that just doesn't?
I
like,
love
"Ain't
Shaka.
Nobody" is bomb, but like, yo, come on, you guys.
Yeah, like
maybe there'd be a special occasion in the future where like it means something bigger, like it can mean like more. But like I know it's been 3 years, y'all haven't heard me come out to it, so I gave it to Terminus. You know, it allowed that. You know, it's the first time I used it. I might not go like I don't know, like I might need a different feel because like that was a feel I had, and that got people to attach to me. Now I need people to attach to me in a different way, in a different manner. You know, like it was cool, it was great, but like even like coming out to Defy, I came out to Ain't Nobody just because that nostalgia factor had to hit and then like instantly to remember for any Defy fans that haven't seen me in 3 years or new fans that like who is this guy? And then you hear that you be like, oh snap, that's Swerve. You know, but now it's like okay, like this is against Nick Wayne. This is like Green Goblin and freaking Tom Holland and Spider-Man, you know? Like I need a whole different vibe. I can't have people like dancing with me when I'm about to, you know, go against this kind of stuff. Like that's I'm also testing the waters each and every independent I go to. Like I'm always like figuring things out, changing things up, give it a feel, and then like that, take it away, throw it out. It's like I'm looking. I feel like Iron Man building the suit, looking at the graphics. I'm just like, I don't need that here. Move this, move transition. I'm just doing all that constantly. So, but I do it as I'm working. You know, I do it as I'm driving or traveling. I'm always just like seeing matrix numbers in front of my face when it comes to this stuff, and that's like what makes me very unique. You know, like I feel like that makes me very unique. You know.
Well, I'm not going to take up a whole lot more of your time because your time is valuable and we got more to get to on this show. But one last question. And we're going to come back to this. Pick them now. NBA Finals.
I think Warriors. Warriors versus Bulls.
Hey, look at my two guys right here.
I would love to see
exactly
it.
what I was going to say. So let's go.
I would love to see it, man. I personally think it's going to be Warriors Bucks possibly, or Warriors Nets.
Bucks again?
I can see Bucks.
Yeah.
You think they're having? Do you think they're having as good of a year this year as last year?
No, but
no.
I've been a Bulls fan for a long time, man. I don't want to set my expectations too high, man. So, man. We're going to the finals, bro. I got to be ready for this letdown if that happens.
The NBA is a little difficult with these kind of things because a twisted ankle can change the whole landscape of the playoffs. You know, so
one night
the
whole thing is over.
Man.
Yeah, you know, like I got shin splints, can't play tonight. Like what? Like,
Man.
So like it's tricky when it comes to that. So, but I'm going like I said, like when I saw them get DeRozan, Zach LaVine, and Lonzo, I'm like, ooh, that's it. They're going to be number one. They're going to be top 3 in the East.
Y'all see the dude on Twitter with the Rose jersey? He changed it to DeRozan.
Yes, I did see that. That was hilarious.
Hilarious.
Man. Hey, so, I mean, talking a little bit about sports, your football team, Super Bowl champions.
So let me tell you about that night. That was crazy. Well, first of all, I went to the Tampa game, the Tampa versus Rams game, divisional playoff. Like, so I was like,
you were in enemy territory.
Oh yeah, I was red all around me, and I was just sitting here.
I'm in Florida.
Like, yeah, in Florida, South. Like, yeah, like
Yikes.
It was the first half of the game was 20-3. Didn't hear the cannons go off at all. I'm like, oh, it's a little quiet over here. Like, you see the arena. Like the screens with like the players like, all right, everybody, third down, let's get hype. Everybody's like,
not hype.
Then
But
fumble happens. Another fumble happens. Touchdown happens. Jalen Ramsey cooked Mike Evans in the end zone, 23-14. I'm like, these towels start waving around. I'm like, what is happening? Oh my god!
I was almost texting you like because I went to text you like just the congratulations like in the first half, and then I'm like, don't do that because as I'm seeing it like start to get closer and closer, I'm like, I don't know that this is going to go in his favor, and so I'm gonna shut up.
My group chat was blowing up. And it was just like, uh-oh, what's happening? Swerve, what's this? Oh, my God. I'm like, shut up. Right so, man, I was just losing my mind. I was on the edge of my seat. And then freaking Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp, deep over Antoine Winfield Jr. Foul, catch, kick the field goal, got Tom Brady out of here.
But you got about the NFL. That's it. We're done with Tom Brady.
I'm like, bye. Don't miss you because you were the guy that beat us in the Super Bowl when Travis Scott performed at the halftime show, and we didn't score a damn touchdown when we averaged 30 points all season. I was upset. I was hot.
Man.
And I watched that game. I watched that Super Bowl in Ireland at 4 in the morning. I had to start it at 3. I was going to watch it till 4 or 5 in the morning. So I lost sleep in the game. So being out in LA watching the Super Bowl, I was with AJ and Miko Grimes. We're at her place watching it with a big assortment of people. It was an awesome time. Like wearing my Rams, my Aaron Donald jersey. You can check my IG, see how I was feeling when, put up the ring, got that last sack on Joe Burrow. It's a beautiful thing. So I go back to my Airbnb, like laying down, just like Rams Super Bowl. Yeah, and then like, oh snap, IG. I see my man Josh V, the boyfriend of Nita Strauss. Nita Strauss, guitar for Alice Cooper. Also done like the Nakamura entrance and a lot of stuff with NXT and WrestleMania and WWE and stuff. Like she's been on the podcast as well. Shout out Nita Strauss and all them. He hits me up because Nita Strauss was in New Orleans at the time, but Josh was in LA. And since she plays the guitar for the Ram Stadium and all that stuff, he had access to their banquet after the Super Bowl, after the game. So he just was like, "Oh, dude, you're in LA? Yo, I got a +1. Come out." I said, "Well, skip that diddly dee. I'm gonna get all my stuff back on and over." So I took an Uber 25 minutes away, like freaking partying, hanging out, meeting like Paul Hecker, the punter for the Rams, on this night they win the Super Bowl.
Crazy.
So it's like I get there at like midnight, around 3 o'clock. We've been meeting all these people. It was cool. I started heading out. I was like, "Yo, you want to catch the Super? Head out?" He's like, "Yeah, let's head out." As we're walking on the exit table over there with a bunch of people around them, security, it's Aaron Donald. I like, well, skip that diddly dee. I'm gonna go to Aaron Donald. Dap him up. I was like, "Yo, man, I'm meeting the guy, my favorite player in the league, wearing his jersey, meeting him, cool." Couldn't get pictures because of security and all that, but it was like I don't even need the picture. Like that's just mentally locked in my head. I was like, "What is going on in life right now, man?"
Wow, it's like a fan meeting you at a wrestling show, man.
The night I win, like the main event at Mania, like that's the equivalent of that kind of thing, But dude, it's like crazy, like he's saying contemplating like retiring too, like because he finally got his ring. He already has all the defensive awards he can get, like. So it was a special night. So, like, I rooted for the right team. I picked the right team in 2000 to be my team for life. Wow.
Well, congratulations on that. Congratulations on the Super Bowl win. Broncos fan over here continues to be sad, but we'll get there.
Like we don't talk about football in Chicago.
Wait, that's true. Wait, I will say this: that Von Miller, he specifically said, "Look, I'm just playing in LA right now, but I am eternally a Broncos fan." So I was in that sense.
No. Y'all don't get that, just like Detroit don't get that.
Wait. First off, Matt Stafford is a completely different case. Matt Stafford did not have success in Detroit, whereas we're talking about we're talking about Von Miller, who Super Bowl MVP Von Miller. So a big difference between Von Miller and Matt Stafford.
How big is this difference, though?
What's the difference? Come on,
But either way, and he was playing for the Broncos already earlier in the season, so it is kind of like a little bit of a
this
victory.
Ring about to say LA Rams on it, not the Broncos.
That's why our franchises are the way they are. Man. We got some of that championship too. You didn't get it. Without us. We
Look, as a matter of fact,
like the Browns trying to be like, yeah, Odell, man, he did. Like, no.
No, you know what? I'm gonna completely leech off this victory because you know what? Because the Rams are owned by Stan Kroenke, who owns the Denver Denver Nuggets. And so, you know what? We got a whole piece of the cake right now. Stan Kroenke in the building.
He got the Stretch Armstrong arms out to reach for that one, boy. I tell you.
Man.
Hey, seriously though, Swerve. Yeah, it was such a pleasure to have you here. We got tiers available March 18th. You are going to be performing tonight at Defy. And
against Nick Wayne.
Against Nick Wayne, the newest signee to AEW. I guess I can't say newest because
sorry. Don't mix those things up. Nick Wayne, newest signee to AEW.
Yeah.
Not Swerve. Sorry, Tony Khan.
Yeah, sorry, Sean Ross. This is the second time I mentioned him on the interview. I gotta stop shouting him out. In like 24 hours, I shouted him out twice. Man.
I told him we were gonna bury him here. So you suck, Sean Ross Sapp. You and your dirt sheets are the worst.
Yeah, SRS. You hear them shouting. Yeah.
Let's go, baby.
But seriously, so we got Defy coming up. This is the return to the ring for Defy, a promotion that
on the 50th show.
50th show.
Right after I came back out, it was year 5, and now wrestling on 50th anniversary. 50th show. I meant perfect 50th show. Yeah.
And there's so much more on the horizon. I have a hunch that we haven't heard the last of Swerve the Realist in the slightest.
What's he gonna do? Where's he gonna go?
That's what I'm saying. I don't talk much. I let everybody else talk. I just planted a bunch of seeds, and now it's just like, oh, watch everybody just surround this camper. And
watch them bloom.
Oh my God, Russell talk. Oh my God, I'm like, everybody's like, oh, you stop. Like it's real stupid of you to promote yourself. I'm like, that's what we do.
Yeah,
what are you talking
this is pro wrestling. What?
What? This is entertainment. Like Kanye doesn't promote his brand, the Yeezys. Right. What are you talking about? Like this is what we do. Any news that comes out, you put that shit out there. Like regardless if I said it or not, y'all said it. I'm gonna put it out there. Regardless if it's true, I'm like, hey, just look what he said.
Man. Regardless where you show up next, I know where you're gonna kill it, man. Like for me, like way before we even started this podcast, I don't know if you remember this, Will, but the first time I ever recorded with this man, after we recorded, we had a long conversation. I was like, yo, what's next for Swerve? And this is before I knew y'all were related. And we had this whole conversation that night, like a long conversation. And so to get full circle to our podcast today and have you on is really dope.
This is super dope.
Thank you, man.
Thank
you.
Yeah, and of course, me, 5 pillars of Black Wrestlance. Swerve is one of those people. Shane Strickland is part of the reason that I'm in the building on this podcast right now. So shout out to Swerve. Like I've been saying since the beginning of this podcast, one of the best wrestlers in the entire world, and we are now about to see everybody. It's going to be beautiful. Thank you, Swerve, man. We appreciate
that.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. Grapsody. What's up? Oh, SwerveCity.com or SwerveConfident.com, YouTube.com/Swerve City Podcast. Boom. It's right there.
You got the Twitter handle right above.
Mm-hmm. Boom.
Swerve Confident. There you go. Right there. And it's also IG as well.
Yes,
Swerve.
Yes.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yep.
You did that.
Swerve. He swerved. That's him. Oh, yeah. And breaking news, since we didn't break it on the podcast with Swerve. Swerve has signed to. Damn, they edited me again. It's crazy out here. Tony Khan, he is really good with those edits. Every time he comes in,
What was that noise?
That's the spoilers.
Yeah. Yeah, again, just always great. And folks, let's read some of the super chat, shall we?
What are y'all talking about in here, you guys, man? Y'all better be Y'all better relax, okay?
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Mike says, Swerve to the G1. Can't wait to see the Jay White match. Of course, I was there in person, so I have a different perspective of how that match went down, but I had a great time watching it in person, and I hope it comes off just as well for people watching at home. We have iCrunch. Pastor Blaster says, supporting the best new wrestling podcast with content for the culture. Blessings. Plus, Swerve is dope. Thank you.
That. Yes.
Tyrone says, much love to you, Swerve, since you came out to B.O.B. Man, I miss B.O.B. Why do you have to be a flat earther, man? That, like...
Man, listen, there was a period as a Lupe fan where B.O.B. was bubbling up, and I had a friend that
you
loved
can't see
B.O.B.
past my shades.
Yeah.
Like,
and he was like, yo, B.O.B. is better than Lupe, and I was like, whoa.
Well, because Lupe he had B.O.B. song first, that Beautiful Girl, whatever his song was. Lupe,
yeah, both of those songs.
Yeah, those
Lupe had the songs, and then
Nothing on
B.O.B.
You and Airplanes.
Nothing on You.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
right.
and then he did. And then, like I said, they did that song.
I don't know who was saying that. They were wild, and he is.
Well, because remember, everybody was like, B.O.B. when he first came out. Like, for people who are too young to remember, back in like 2010, when B.O.B. was first coming out, people were like, man, this is the next Andre 3000, right? Like, he even says that in the song. He's like, before they ever compared me to Andre, like, that's what people thought, right?
Magazines
and honestly,
saying that.
He sunk himself going so deep in on Flat Earth that you might even say he walked off the edge of it.
Man, this is before they even
Never go Eric Benet, bro.
Yeah, this is before they even started being like crazy about like getting celebrities out of here for stuff. He just like
got himself out.
They got the guy out of here, boy.
Yeah.
Shout out to B.O.B. We didn't mean to, completely just stomp you out like that.
Yeah. Caught us straight on a Saturday morning. Man, shout out to
In Your Head Changed Man says, what influenced you to use the name Shane as your wrestling name? The name Shane is originated from Ireland. That would have been a good question to ask him. Yeah. No, it's not his real name.
Okay. Not his name anymore, man.
No, but Strickland, real last name, and it's so funny too, because there's a really complicated story as to why. Because when I say we're cousins, and then I'm like, on my dad's side, they're like, why don't you guys have the same last name? And I'm like, it's complicated as to why. I know it's complicated as to why that is. Because his dad Stephen and my dad Lee, they do have the same dad. Our grandfather is William Woodrow Washington. But his I
almost said WW3, but it's too relevant
too relevant right now because it is there's a little bit of a complicated thing where like I guess his grandma did not take the last name Washington. So like my dad has so many Strickland relatives. Literally my dad's birthday was last week, and like on the Facebook comments it's all Washington, Strickland, Strickland, Washington, and it's all like different relatives that all have some combination of either Washington or Strickland. And that's like growing up, it was one of those two last names I knew was related to my dad, as if you had a Strickland or Washington. And it's on Swerve's Wikipedia entry, but Fred Strickland, who played for the Dallas Cowboys back in the 90s, he's our cousin as well.
Wow.
So
Y'all
that was one of the
reunions are crazy, bro. It's all kind of stuff going on out there.
So that was one of those things. But yeah, it's and like I never truly understood the dynamic because of the fact that my grandpa died before I was born, and I'm older than Swerve, so died before he was born as well. Neither of us knew him. I'm named after him because my birth was so close to his death, and so it was like, well, we're gonna bring William Washington back into the fold, and then I got the name.
There he is.
So that's that. That's where my name comes from.
That's dope.
If anybody ever wondered that origin. And Anthony Scatz, my true story about Anthony Scatz, first person I ever hosted a podcast with. And also, when I originally had the idea to do a podcast back in 2005, I literally like just finished high school. He was the first person I asked, Anthony Scatz.
Wow.
And I think we're going to do an episode of Day After Dynamite together. I just
Shout
need
out
to
to
know
Anthony Scats,
what his schedule is on that. Anyway, Scats says he made Shaka Khan a theme song, legacy set, Embiid MVP.
I don't know, man. That guy DeRozan might have something to say
Yeah,
about that, bro.
DeRozan's going crazy right now. Yeah, he's
It's
on
worth
fire.
noting Scats is from Philadelphia. So,
Scats.
so there's that.
And we ain't doing none of those Johns over here, bro.
Philly Johns, bro. Yeah.
Look,
Hey,
speaking of which,
Embiid always playing. He's always on fire. So you never
yeah.
know.
Tremaine says, I appreciate Swerve being here. I need to watch more of what he's done. He seems so cool, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Jade and Nikita this week. Wrestling is sweet. I appreciate you guys. Man,
Jade
Nikita broke the
and-
timeline.
Jade
Jade and who?
redacted.
Who-
Yeah.
Who's the other person you're talking about? I don't know who that is.
Nikita Koloff, the old Russian sickle guy, or La Femme Nikita is the only ones I really know. Like, is this after Raw in 1997? Yes or no? We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
Oh, man, it was that and Silk Stockings. Silk
Yeah.
Stockings was like late or earlier 90s.
It's like, what kind of is this? It's not softcore porn. It's like some kind. I don't know what. It's weird after Raw, man. Don't let Raw be over and somebody be watching with you. They like, yo, what do you be watching, bro?
La Femme Nikita and Silk Stockings are like forever burn in my brain because of after Raw.
Yeah.
Those were the shows that would come on.
You watch
And
wrestling in the 90s, man. That's what you know. You know them two shows.
And before Raw, it was Walker, Texas Ranger. And I've never seen
Sometimes Murder She Wrote also.
Murder, She Wrote. Yeah. So I've seen a lot of Murder, She Wrote. I've probably seen like every episode of Murder, She Wrote. But look, man, I love solving mysteries with Jessica Fletcher. But I have never seen an episode of Walker, Texas
You're
Ranger.
such a dad, man. I tell you.
I have only ever seen the last like 5 minutes of an episode of Walker, Texas Ranger, and how they like always wrapped up, and then the music would play, and then it would kick into Raw.
They
That's
always
all I know.
Kick off with like some corny joke or something. They always try to end it on like a Texas Ranger. Here he goes again.
I know Chuck Norris from Sidekicks.
Into Raw at 8:57.
Yeah, I know Chuck Norris from Sidekicks and his appearance in the Bruce Lee movie, but that Texas Ranger John, I don't watch that. Nope.
Yeah, nope.
He was also
Never saw an
Was
episode.
it the 1994 Survivor Series? I think he was at. He was in the corner of Razor Ramon. I think it was Razor Ramon and Chuck Norris against HBK and Diesel, and Chuck Norris kicked somebody. I think Walter Payton might have been there too. It was a lot going
What?
on. I think this is Survivor Series '94. It was a lot going on. Check it out, or probably don't check it out. It's a pretty bad show. Actually.
I am La Lucha. Says, rolling up and hanging with y'all on a Saturday is a vibe. Thanks for repping the culture. Swerve, I'm a huge fan. Congrats on the future endeavors.
Thank you.
And the real future endeavors, not congrats on the release.
Jeez.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, because you know what future endeavors means when people say it. And Scats also mentioned your Broncos beat my Panthers in a Super Bowl. Yeah, they did that as well.
That was a funny night for me, man. It was a very funny night. I was the only person in our household because, you know, that was Cam going to the Super Bowl. So, you know, at most black Super Bowl parties, everybody's rooting for Cam.
Yep.
And I was sitting there and it was like, I was like the only one, like, guys, Panthers are going to lose the game. And somebody was like, oh, you a hater. And I was like, nah, they're going to lose. And so after the game, I was looking around like, sipping a little drink, like, quite a night, huh, guys?
Yeah, it's like you wanted it for Cam so bad, but you're like, you kind of know what's gonna happen here, though. You guys,
I guess just the thing I'm tired of as a Broncos fan is quarterbacks winning Super Bowls and then retiring. And so it's like, hey, y'all were at the top, and now y'all get to start at the very bottom again to have to rebuild to that. And you
that's
know,
what it'd be like, man. Just kiss the ring and move on. That's all you
Yeah.
got to do.
Yeah, more quarterbacks should do that, actually. Just like, you know what? Got my ring. I'm done.
More
man.
wrestling champions should do that too. Hint, hint. Brock Lesnar. Hint, hint. Roman Reigns.
I
can't believe-
former Denver Bronco Philip Lindsey, by the way.
It blows my mind thinking about the stat that Brock is now a 10-time champ. When like he left WWE in 2004, 3-time champ. He's gotten 7 reigns since he's been back.
And like 6 of them, he didn't even want. He just like, I guess I don't really care. I'll take it, but not
Like
really.
what? Yeah, I mean, the 2 of them lasted a month. He had just thinking about the one with the Rumble earlier, or when he won at day 1, and then also that one where he cashed in the Money in the Bank,
Right.
and I still hate that. Let me tell you, one of the biggest problems, that'll bring us into our next topic. One of my biggest problems with the Brock Lesnar beating Kofi reign, is that if you really had to do it in 4 seconds, let's just say that was how they always envisioned Kofi's reign ending. 4 seconds, Brock Lesnar. He had a Money in the Bank briefcase. Mm-hmm. You literally just could have done it with that. Because at least at that point, then you're telling the story of Kofi didn't see it coming, and he was blindsided by Brock Lesnar, who took him out 4 seconds. If you had to do that,
he was Money in the Bank winner, and he got 2 reigns out of that.
Yeah, 2.
Just now, he won the Royal Rumble and then won the championship. Anyways, it's like what?
You had a device though in 2019 with him carrying around the Money in the Bank. You literally could have just had him cash in on Kofi. 4 seconds, if that was how it had to end.
After a match.
Yeah, after a match or anything. Mm-hmm. You didn't have to do that when you had a way to get it.
But
don't
have
get
to
me started. I don't want to go on a Brock rant.
Yeah,
they have to show that Brock is the man. We all know what it is.
Yes. So. And a couple more super chats. Chris says, did you guys see Malachi Black versus Davey Richards? Definite match of the year contender. I didn't see that.
I haven't. No, I don't even know
what
that
show was that on?
Yeah, what promotion?
Yeah, what show was that on?
I usually know. I usually know about the show.
This is the indie guy.
Mm-hmm.
And RH says Will's camera went after him for that Denver Super Bowl championship.
His camera was like, "Now let me cut you off, bro. You doing a lot."
Yeah, exactly. Cooking a lot out here, boy. We gotta shut it down.
He said, "Also, I can't wait to see Swerve and Company redacted. Love the show."
Don't be making a me joke on my.
Look,
podcast.
man. Hey, I like I said.
Check the
Fightful
Humpers,
Select.
Will. Thank you. Yeah, we're gonna get to the Humpers.
FightfulSelect.com is
right,
worth.
Everybody hears this, and they already, man.
FightfulSelect.com. It's worth every penny. I'll say that.
We was talking to Will's cousin today, not anybody else. That's it.
Yeah. But
Prestige Wrestling. Shout out to Prestige. They are going crazy out here. Yeah, they're doing a lot right now. Shout out to them.
Yep,
they're going to be doing a joint show with my homies West Coast Pro Wrestling on my birthday, March 11th, coming up in a couple weeks. Holler at your boy. It's going to be dope. So, send your boy some money. I'm poor. Yeah.
Your birthday's on Friday this year.
Yeah.
March 11th.
March 11th.
Okay. Cool. Which means
it's going to be lit.
Yeah, I know. We got to do something for Reg the Saturday after.
Mm-hmm.
We
gotta have a birthday podcast for sure.
Yeah. And then let's read some Humper chats. We got one that was sent quite a while ago, but shout out to for getting this one in way in advance. And this one's from Joseph. He says, "You're the best part of the weekend. I'm pursuing my master's, shout out, in journalism, and I'm lucky to write about wrestling as my beat. Know you spoke about Cody last episode, but if you had to bet, will we see Cody versus Roman in his first year back? Thanks." Yeah, I do think so. In the first year, absolutely, definitely. I think we would. Let's see. Big J says, "As a white man from middle of nowhere in New Hampshire who had one token black man throughout middle school and high school, you guys' program makes me think every week about diversity and representation. Appreciate you guys."
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Hey. I got a little worried.
They had us in the first half. They had us in the first half.
Our dude Van Twinblade says, "Hey guys, I come to talk about Black Wrestlers Matter St. Louis and to ask if you guys heard me shouting at Josh C that his mustache looks stupid and he has no ass."
Hey, why you gotta do Josh like that, man? Damn, all on blast. I'm sure he got you back, or he was in the match because Josh quick with it.
Also said Shug D is a clown, and I love what he did with ATM. Also, look up STL versus the World. Team Ambition is putting it on.
They are, yeah. Team Ambition's crazy. All those people. Shout out to Black Wrestlers Matter St. Louis. They did an incredible event. Had a bunch of people that we love and see all the time. It was super lit in February for Black wrestling, and also not super lit for Black wrestling. So, things happen how they happen. We can't have it all.
Shout out to John West for putting on those shows, man.
Yes, definitely.
Carlos E says, "Have to miss the live Grapsody stream this week, but wanted to send some love to my favorite podcast in the game. Also, can't wait to watch Swerve take over the world in 2022.
Same.
We're ready.
Agreed.
Yep, ready. Addy says, "Hey guys, just wanted to say y'all are all that in a bag of chips. Thanks for always putting on a great show." Thank you, Addy. Appreciate
I hope
that.
I'm some Doritos or something. Because if I'm some Lay's, I'm not into being no Lay's.
Nah, they're not
No
gonna
plain
put you at the plain Lays, bro.
Nah,
All right.
not with the yellow bag, bro. Not with the
Yeah, I
yellow
was gonna say
bag.
plain Lay's, nah, but Ruffles.
Plain Ruffles.
I love plain Ruffles.
Oh, you tripping?
No, what?
Them dad taste
plain
buds
Ruffles
again.
with some hot sauce, bro. Come on.
Okay. You changed the game right. Okay. You
See,
put
I
spit in
like plain Ruffles because they're versatile. Like I don't like plain Lay's because it's all thin, but there's so much you can do with
right.
plain Ruffles.
Okay. Hot sauce. Phil got me real good. That's a
Yeah.
black classic right there. Put it in the bag. Classic. You eating for days right here.
Jennifer says, "Ain't nobody. Sending love to the gents and excitement for the interview. Keep killing it out there. Life of Deem." Thank you, Jennifer. I always appreciate Jennifer's support.
Yes, Jennifer's the best.
Life of Deem, winner of my Revolution tickets. So shout out Life of Deem.
Yeah, you better find the boys next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week, Life of Deem. Making a trip to Orlando you weren't planning on making. I'm serious though, congratulations. I will say that that was a fun endeavor because like I kind of like leaned on Denise Salcedo, who like does these kind of giveaways and stuff for tickets like all the time. And I was like, I've never done anything like this before. But it turns out there's like mechanisms because I'm like, do I have to like scroll through a whole bunch of retweets and like make sure that they followed all the instructions? Like, no, there's literally like a website where you can just like input the tweet and it'll like find somebody who did all of the above and then pick randomly. So it's like truly random. I didn't have to do much of anything. So it was a completely fair contest.
And that's dope that you executed because I remember you telling Phil and I like a while ago that you were thinking about doing this. And so executed and it happened and somebody's going to be at Revolution.
Well, I'll say this. Somehow, some way, I ended up with, I kid you not, 8 Revolution tickets. 8 Revolution tickets I ended up with.
Oh, I just remembered what I applied for at Revolution, and I'm gonna get it. That's gonna be funny when I'm like, it's Righteous Reg of the Pro Wrestling Illustrated and Grapsody. Holler at your boy. Where's Cody Rhodes at?
So no, I end up still sitting on. So I've through a process ended up getting all 8 tickets off except the ones I need. And so, but somehow, some way, I ended up with a bunch of Revolution tickets, and now I am now down to 3. So, so we're good. But
I have 0 in my zero right now in my possession, but like by the time the show happens, I'll have like 10. Yes. So it's lit. I'm gonna elite, baby. No, I
it's especially
I got that email. Yeah, right. We're good. We're good here.
Especially because the show is like almost legit sold out. It's now granted, Dave Meltzer had a story this week about like scalpers made a killing off of this show. That they ended up, I think he said scalpers ended up procuring like 40% of the tickets and only have like 500 left on secondhand sites.
Scalpers. Also,
but like they sold them.
Yeah. Also, AEW, Will and I have some beef with y'all because y'all announced this Thursday show super late. We are already booked and ready to go with our flights.
Yeah.
We would have came early if we would have known it was lit.
Yeah, I know. I honestly, like, so they announced that they're doing the extra Universal Studios taping, and we just discovered we're going to Universal Studios way back at the beginning of the show. But
Damn it, on Monday. Come on,
I know.
Move the tapings to Monday.
We'll
have a great time.
I know they're doing the Universal Studios tapings, and it looks like they're gonna have like the stars in the building because I saw they advertised Jade, they advertised the Bucks, and the Bucks even noted that because it's taped in the studio that Impact used to be taped in, and the Bucks were like, it's been a long time since we've been in the studio. #Generation Me.
Hey, Starman's in the building. You know about that feeling. You are now watching the throne.
Let's go. I should have did it though. Hobbs told me, he was like, come on Wednesday, come to Dynamite, come to Rampage, come to. I'm like, I can't. And I should have, man. Now look at me.
I know, right? Like only reason I can't now is because it's going to cost too much to change my flight. Yeah, but because I would love to be at Wednesday's Dynamite. But Anwar says, how much did the Fed winning the Monday Night Wars derail generations of wrestling fans? Because some of y'all, Phil, child, be hella wild and ignorant.
The answer is a lot. Too much. WWE has ruined every single wrestling mind in the world.
Yeah. It says, Swerve's that dude. Props to y'all on another fire episode. I mean, there's a lot of things that I recognize. So, for example, it's been announced that they're doing a unification match for the
biggest WrestleMania match in the history of WrestleMania matches.
Gotta love marketing jargon. But the WWE Championship, Universal Championship, title for title, they're calling it a unification match, which I feel is a very important distinction from like what they did at WrestleMania 35, where it was every title's on the line. Becky won both and had to defend both. They're using the word unification, which is making it sound like the titles are going to merge again, which is interesting because talk about long-term planning. This wasn't the plan. Back at day one, there wasn't even going to be a WWE Championship involvement. They had, like, the plan back at the beginning of January was just do Big E versus Seth Rollins. And, like, it is amazing how they were like, actually, fuck all of that. Let's just merge the titles. Which apparently,
about anybody else.
According to the certain stories, that, like, Paul Heyman really pushed hard for that. That said, I don't mind.
Man, I'll be telling people you're the greatest booker of all time. Don't be doing this to me.
I mean, there's the thing. I don't mind the idea of there being one title, and I don't mind the idea of even not having a brand split anymore. I actually think the brand split's kind of a detriment to them right now. And I wouldn't have said that a couple of years ago. And it's not to say that WWE needs to do anything around the existence of AEW, but it is important to recognize that the brand extension came about because WCW was no more, because there wasn't a second brand of professional wrestling on a high level. And so there came a point where WWE was kind of housing all the major stars of the business. They had so many people that they needed to create almost like I've always kind of called it a little bit of false competition in the industry.
Yeah,
and that,
exactly. They created, Bruce Pritchard talks about it on his podcast, how they wanted to create WWE versus WWE. That's why they had Raw and SmackDown for competition between themselves, because there wasn't any other competition.
And the funny thing was, it was originally going to be WCW and WWF. That they were originally. The funny thing was, the brand they were going to drop at the time was Raw. That Raw was supposed to go away in 2001, and it was going to be WCW.
It was going to be Nitro, essentially.
Yeah, it was going to be Nitro on Mondays, and then SmackDown was going to be the brand to stick around. And then they completely bailed on that because
after like 2 weeks, they were like, "Oh."
Well, here's a little history lesson, right? So back in 2001, you may recall, and it was a storyline that was completely dropped, where Linda McMahon had, after WrestleMania 17, she turned out she was of right mind, and Vince McMahon had apologized, gotten on his knees, and then she was like, I want a divorce. And they even announced a divorce date, that there was going to be a segment with divorce proceedings, and the storyline was going to end up being that Linda took half the company from Vince and was going to give it to Shane, who just bought WCW, and that was going to be how the split happened. WCW, Shane's running, and WWF has continued to be run by Vince. And then, of course, like, they did that one episode of Raw where it became WCW at the end. Fans turned on it. They booed it, which was sabotage, by the way. And I say it was sabotage. I say it was sabotage because they ran that Raw in a city that WCW was not commonly run in. But the very next week, Raw was in Atlanta. Yep. You mean to tell me you couldn't have waited 1 week to run this exact scenario where you have WCW fans who would have taken to this, and then you would have seen that there would have...
They picked the wrong guy, too. Like, no one wants to see Buff Bagwell.
And it was Buff Bagwell, Booker T.
wanted to rat. We want to see Booker T, but they need a different opponent. Like, they set him up for failure. So
they set him up for failure, and then bailed on it, and it became the Raw and SmackDown split. But my whole point here, though, is that now we're at a point where WWE really doesn't need to be focused on competition within themselves, because they barely focus on it anyway. And so I'm like, if they could focus on one cohesive brand, 2 shows, 1 brand, like it was from 99 till 2002, and really focus on, because I do think the idea of 2 championships, 2 world championships, dilutes the the value of having a world champion to say, I am the champion of this brand, because there isn't a the champion. I mean, there is,
Right.
but because it's Roman.
I mean,
but
which is an extension of your point from last week.
yeah,
I mean,
like there is, it's Roman. But but the fact
Did you
is,
say
like,
Broman? That's Brock and
sorry.
Roman together. Formed
Yes.
together. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's what it is.
right. I don't feel like we need a brand split any longer. I don't necessarily feel like when people say, but it, it creates fresh matchups. Just do fresh matchups.
It's easy,
That's easy to say, but we know them.
But again, that's on them.
Bullshit. Yeah, exactly.
And, hey, but thanks for that humper chat. I don't know what you were trying to say about me in particular. Great point, I guess. Furthermore, watch your mouth. Like, don't be just saying I'm wilding for no reason. Like, I don't be wilding, bro.
But Life of Deem, I forgot to even read what Life of Deem said. It said, happy Saturday, fellas. I'm so excited for this episode because Swerve has been one of my favorites since I first saw him in Lucha Underground. Shout out Killshot. One of the best names that I think anybody's come up with that's not just like a name. And he said, also got my ticket for the AEW music concert in Orlando. See you there. Van Twinblade.
We're gonna have a good time out there. Ooh, it's gonna be fun.
Van Twinblade followed up saying, Jossie called the crowd the M slur, rhymes with funky. So I regret nothing. Real talk, though, he is a great heel and was very nice after the show.
The Black Wrestlers Matter champ. We got to get Jossie on this show, man. Let him talk his shit. Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Mac because Mac has been following a really long time, going back to my early days on RBR. But shout out to Mac. First Grapsody episode after becoming a married man like Will. Congratulations, Mac.
Congratulations, bro.
Keep up the good work, fellas.
Let's go. Congrats on the nuptials.
Yeah.
In the building.
And Wallace Koalas says, see you in NBA Finals. Signed Memphis Grizz and John.
Yeah, probably not.
Sure.
Bro.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Good luck with that, buddy.
Ja Morant's an amazing talent, though. Can't take that away from him.
Didn't he just get injured?
Oh, damn. Come on, man.
Riley Walker says, maybe I'm crazy, but I feel the Bucks lose Wednesday and won't be in the tag title match. I see either Santana or Ortiz or Top Flight winning.
I kind of agree.
One or the other. I mean, yeah, Top Flight, because, all of a sudden we still have 10 teams, but one team's out because we know that Red Dragon is not in the match anymore. So who's going to take their place?
It's been about a year since I talked to him about his surgery. It's getting pretty close here. He's getting pretty close here for that Top Flight
didn't
return.
Sean say he was ready when he was on all the way in January?
Yeah, he posted some pictures, and he's in his gear, like, it feels like we're close.
Go, baby. It's about to be flipping.
Mike says the Attitude Era was the best thing to happen to pro wrestling in the short term and the worst thing to happen to pro wrestling in the long term.
I agree.
I think the Attitude Era is extremely overrated.
I do too. That said, I do think that the crazy thing is, to me, the best year of the Attitude Era is 2000, and I think it's the least attitude-like of the Attitude Era. Really, because Vince Russo is gone and Vince Russo's a hack. But that year in 2000 was like
was a fire year.
Yeah, and it's shout out to Josh Swallow. He pointed out to me when he did a rewatch of it. He was like, it's really like a way more tame year in terms of like pushing the envelope, and that like because they turned it into an angle, right? Like you had people actually complaining about how lewd WWE had become, but the fans loved it. So turn that into a storyline. They introduced the right to censor, and their literal gimmick was to take away the things that you love about the Attitude Era. You love seeing boobies. Well, we're gonna stop you from seeing boobies. And it's like you love. Well, their favorite word was scantily clad. That was the thing that right to censor was there to take from you. And really, it was a way of WWE trying to clean up the product, but also make it so that the fans would hate it. And it was smart. But 2000 to me, best year of the Attitude Era, I think. When you think about the influx of talent that changed the way the wrestling was presented in 2000 when like the Radicals all showed up. Kurt Angle suddenly got big. Chris Jericho. Like all of a sudden we had like in-ring talent that wasn't really there, and the mid-card just like shot way up. Everybody was over. Like to me,
I fucks with 97, but it's a little, the line is kind of fine. They were like just getting into it at that point.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I just, and then the other thing too was that I feel like 2000 to me, and 97 is a good year for this too, is the main year of the Attitude Era where Vince McMahon is not the centerpiece heel,
Right.
because you know 98 everybody like you had 98
God.
it's just all Vince and whoever Vince's newest I guess stooge. I won't say stooge because Undertaker wasn't a stooge, but it's like he's doing Vince's bidding. Mick Foley was doing Vince's bidding. In 99 it was all people doing Vince's bidding. The Rock. And then 2000 it was like, hey, now we've introduced Hunter, who like has Vince, but Vince is kind of answering to Hunter now. And then you had Kurt Angle suddenly move up, and it was like, okay, now we're focusing. And Chris Benoit, you had heels that were at the top, that were taking on the top baby faces, but weren't McMahon guys. That's the best year of the Attitude Era. If you ever want to go back and watch stuff, that's the year I recommend.
2000. All kind of crazy
2000.
matches that happened that year.
Hey, but we got a topic that was near and dear to Mr. Lindsey, and that was the Black Champions Roundtable that took place on WWE's YouTube yesterday. It featured the WWE champion, previous WWE champion Bobby Lashley, the former WWE champion Big E, and former WWE champion Kofi Kingston sitting down with Byron Saxton. I did
2
not
out
get
of 3 have been interviewed by Righteous Reg. I just want to say that out loud for PWI. 2 out of 3.
Come on, man, Kofi, what you waiting for?
Champions. Yeah, Kofi, what's up, man? Come on, let's get this.
So I did not get to see this in full. I saw the pictures, and the pictures
were amazing. Yeah, I love that picture with the 3 of them.
Phil, you had some feelings on this.
So, I thought it was great. First of all, let's start with love. I thought it was great. I thought it was great that Byron got to interview the guys. I thought them going over things like Kofi's win was great. I thought it was a really good moment of Big E saying that he looked up to Lashley a lot and he patterned himself after him, and so that makes him beating Lashley feel even more special. But when you tie that with stuff like what's going on with unification, and I tweeted this, I was like, man, I feel like it does a disservice to those guys when you've basically cut their reign short the way that you did. And then you've got this unification thing going on where, you know, I tweeted this and I'm like, I don't feel like those 3 guys would have been champion in a world where there's only one belt on the show, because they've made it known that Roman is their guy. But with that said, I do think that it was great. I do think people should go out of their way to watch it. I do think it's one of those rare things where WWE has like kind of 2 things they do every Black History Month. Usually it's the MLK joint, or it's like some joint where, hey, here's a bunch of wrestlers visiting this monument. Isn't this cool? And so I thought this was a good way to do something that's actually relevant to their content, and do something in Black History Month that felt special.
That's a good way to put that. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. And that relevant to their content is a good way to put that.
Yeah, it's usually just some like stock video of like, you know, MLK, and they insert the wrestlers and this is dope that they took the time to do this. Also super dope that this exists. Like, show me this 10 years ago, 3 Black WWE champions, and I'd be like, this picture's fake. So
man, I will say when I posted the picture from it, which the picture was dope of the 3 of them with the title, there were a lot of people either posting Brock gifs or going man, their reigns were terrible though, and I'm like, yeah, but at the same time, I'm not one of those guys that be grateful for what we have, but man, I waited for years to see Kofi win a championship, man, years, and so
should have been 2010.
Yeah, and I mean, look, we can complain about the content, the product all we want, but you know, Kofi got that moment, and Big E got that moment, Lashley got that moment, and so to see the 3 of them standing together was special, man.
They're all so proud of it too. Like, man, regardless of what anybody says, anything that happens, the 3 of them are so proud that they achieved this moment. You can't take that away.
Yeah, and that was another special part about it is, Byron asking all three of them what it meant to be champion, and all three of them giving their answer. I thought that was great.
Right. That's
well, dope.
Watch that.
Yeah. Also, something that a lot of people are talking about. Next topic.
GCW. Yes, I watched the show last night. GCW Heartless something. I don't know. And Heartbreak. I don't know. I never know what these shows are called because now they have so many back to back. But the main event was the returning to the ring after 3 years. X-Pac and Joey Janela versus the Major Bros, Matt Cardona and Brian Myers. Great match, a lot of heat. X-Pac looked great. He hit a lot of his spots. I think he's back at it. He's trying to have a new run somewhere, and somebody's definitely going to give it to him the way that he looked. Crowd was hot for a lot of the match. They hit a lot of cool spots. There was an X Factor off the ropes through a table. They did a bunch of different table spots as GCW. Janela and X-Pac won the match. After the match, X-Pac starts giving an interview giving a promo saying that this is probably his final match, blah, blah, blah. Turns around. Joey Janela hits him with the super kick. The show's over. After the show, the fucking fans in LA are always on some bullshit. I don't know what's wrong with them. Throw a whole bunch of stuff in the ring, just littering the ring.
I noticed that, by the way, at New Japan Rivals.
Yeah,
that
LA fans are. I've noticed it. I've been going to PWG shows since 2004, so it's like something that I've seen a lot. A lot of crowds in LA some of them aren't even wrestling fans. They're just like, it's a cool event. There's people here. It's like a networking thing. I'm going to go and drink and have fun. So that translates to terrible things. There are also people that are wrestling fans that are just terrible people. They go to these shows and get way too drunk. They start drinking hours before the show. When they get to the show, they're already plastered. So when they get there, they start drinking more. By the end of the show, they're hammered. They think they can do whatever they want. They think this is 1998 NWO, and it's fucking not. The thing that they don't know is when they did this in 1998, this was $1 million billion company that could clean this up, get this show back on the road, have another show tomorrow with a new ring, all these things. GCW has another show tomorrow. You know what ring they're going to use? The one last night with all the bullshit you guys threw in it. The one that you guys tried to ruin last night. This isn't like $1 billion company. This isn't $1 million company. This is a company that thrives off of having the things that they have in it. Throwing shit in the ring isn't a great way to show and help them, and that's not good for the wrestlers. It's fucking dangerous. Joey Janela got hit in the head with like beer cans. There's all kind of wild shit going on. So fans,
don't
relax.
Throw a full can of beer at somebody.
Come on, dude, man.
Don't
the Matt Cardona moment happened, and people are gonna keep trying to do that, but it's just not. It's not popping, man.
And look, the Cardona moment, did what it was supposed to do. It produced a memorable moment, but let's not keep trying to replicate.
It's not. It's one time only. We're here and we're done here. Also on this show, something very near and dear to my heart. Defending the GCW Extreme Championship was the motherfucking Truth, Black Death, AJ Gray facing off against someone also very near and dear to my heart, ACH. Incredible match. These two guys are longtime friends, rivals, all the things that came up through the wrestling business together. They have a great bond together. It was great to see them in a match together, going at it. AJ was trying to murder ACH with lariats. ACH was throwing some of the hardest chops he's thrown, trying to murder AJ, because if you're in a fight with AJ, it's a real fight here. They did all kind of crazy stuff. AJ Gray came out the victor. After the match, he grabs the mic at the Hammerstein show for GCW. He won the brass ring. Brass ring means you could challenge any champion of GCW of your liking at any time. Actually, at Joey Janela's Spring Break, WrestleMania weekend, AJ Gray gets on the mic and says, I got this brass ring. There's only one motherfucker I'm going to challenge. His name is Jon Moxley, the GCW World Heavyweight Champion. So at Joey Janela's Spring Break, Jon Moxley, AJ Gray, GCW World Heavyweight Championship. Huge. It's giant. Man. This is everything we've been waiting for 3 years since AJ Gray was screwed out of the GCW Championship. I mean, there's a lot going on. The Grapsody guys are requested at a lot of events in Texas, man. Like they want us to be everywhere. So
and I'm only gonna be in Dallas for. I get in on the 31st, and I Oh no, I get in on the 30th, I think, and I leave on the 1st.
He's saying only like we're not gonna go to like 15 different.
I know,
things
right?
in
But
this
like,
time that he's here.
and maybe that's wrong. I don't even. Actually, maybe I'm completely wrong. I have to look at my. Let's open up the old Google Calendar.
Look at him.
And
But yeah, the GCW show is great if you can watch it. A lot of great stuff coming on. Speedball Mike Bailey and Ninja Mac also had a crazy thing. Ninja Mac came off the top through a table door. Insane shot, Mick Foley-esque, dangerous. Please be careful out there. Watch the GCW show. There's a lot going on backstage that I really wish we could talk about here, but this ain't a GCW podcast. So if you got a GCW podcast, I'd love to come on there and talk to you about it. Boom. WrestleMania is going to suck. That's how I'm going to end it up. 2 days of awful, terrible wrestling.
Wait, so
bunch of filler matches.
Y'all said I'd be the one wilding though. Really? Like, I feel like I like WWE the most out of the three of us.
They're giving us a match that we've seen legit. They've wrestled 6 times, 3 times. I would be fine if they wrestled 6 times in general. 3 of those times have been at WrestleMania.
Hey,
and this ain't Rock Austin.
Times, dude.
And I said
Rock Austin.
And the thing is, even if you want to treat it like Rock Austin, by the time Rock Austin happened the last time, I already said this. By the time Rock Austin happened the last time, the title was out of the picture. You had 2 other title matches that happened because at this point they had already made it above the titles. You could put the titles in other scenarios. Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar actually main evented the last show that had Rock and Austin. Right. Facing each other. I just watched that show, by the way. WrestleMania 19, very underrated.
Great show.
Speaking of which, does anybody know? Because, again, I'm a stats guy. Love numbers. But the one thing I've never quite been aware of is why did that show do so poorly of a buy rate? Was it just because of the
I think on top, nobody was really caring about what was going on top. And the Austin Rock match, they advertise it now like we all like it was Austin's last match, but no one knew that this was going to be Austin's last night. They didn't.
But I mean, it did abnormally bad. Like was it just because of the Iraq War news? Like I don't remember.
It was a weird time. It was a weird time, pretty much.
Because like you look at WrestleMania 18, that did 860,000 buys, right? And then you have WrestleMania 20, which did 1 million. WrestleMania 19 did 560,000. Why did it do that little? I think it's
because it was on top. 18 had Rock and Hogan, 17 was Giant, and then 20 was the anniversary. So it's just like fell at a super wrong time. It was in Seattle. There was a bunch of things that people didn't like about what was going on at the time.
I can't imagine it doing that badly though. Like something had to have. Like I feel like there's something.
I can't really remember. I think I was like 17 at the time. I was just like, wrestling, let's go, baby.
I remember I watched it with a girlfriend at the time who I was just like wrestling, and she's like, okay. Hey, that's why I married.
That happened once in my life, not 5 million times every time I ever talk to a woman. Oh, you right about wrestling? Yeah, you're a big dork. Oh, okay. See you later, lady.
Yeah, that's how it went. But hey, I finally, after years of trying, found somebody to marry me to put up with my wrestling. Yeah. And she even bought me this case. Mainly because she was like, I'm tired of your belts being all over the house. Do something with them.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel, man. You just keep annoying these women, and one of them's going to stick around eventually.
A couple more. Revolution is shaping up. We had Dynamite and Rampage take place this past week.
They're built there. It's
and all of a sudden
they go.
I thought Dynamite was really in like hard sell mode of like we have to we got to sell these matches, and this is how we're going to sell them. And of course, the piece everybody was talking about was MJF and CM Punk, and that they went in a completely different direction than anybody thought. I see people calling it a babyface thing, and like upon rewatch, I don't think so. Because if anything,
it's mind games.
Yeah, but not just mind games, but like in a sense, I think in a way like MJF is justified, but like toward the end, the way he was coming off was very much like you're responsible for who I am now, and it's like obviously there's some truths Punk has to answer to with all that, and I think that's why he came out and he's like, is it true? Don't bullshit me, is this true? But like at the same time, MJF is still coming off like a
MJF.
It's I don't know. They're definitely towing a line here, and it's definitely going to create some. I think there's going to be a mixed reaction at Revolution.
Let me tell
for
you
the both
why
of them.
this promo did not hit for me. Oh, big
okay.
surprise!
Ooh, I'm curious. Let's hear it.
Boom! He did this exact same promo for MLW. Almost legit word for word. Legit. I will tweet out the link. He did this exact same promo. They used to clown me in the
Okay,
thing.
I haven't
He did
seen
this,
that.
he did this.
This is
Yes. Word for word. I will tweet out the
Bar
link.
for bar.
I heard this before. I was like, oh yeah, wait, I've heard this exact same promo before.
Nah, man,
About the guy
don't-
sees him in the van, he gets back at him, CM Punk. Yeah.
Don't bring that
intertwines
radio
the
freestyle
trail.
up in here, man. We heard that already.
Come on, man. You gotta come with some new bars, baby. Don't be coming with these old bars, man. I need new bars, baby. But I do like where they're going with the story. I think I like how CM Punk's playing like sympathetic guy. Like he's kind of like, well, maybe on second thought, this guy really is a big fan, but it's all just mind games. I'm really curious to see what they do with the result of this. Like, are they gonna give MJF the win again? Or are they gonna let CM Punk win? Because CM Punk winning is kind of, I don't know, I don't know if it's really
I
gonna
think that's
hit.
why they did it. I think
Mm-hmm.
I think they know what they're doing with this. I think Punk is going to win, and I think he's going to get the rematch. I think we talked about it here at Long
Yeah, we
Island.
talked about it. Yeah, I mentioned that they got the Long Island show coming up, and it's like right in the build to Double or Nothing. And Double or Nothing dates, by the way, announced finally. And I was surprised.
West Coast. Let's go, baby.
The piece that surprised me was that they're going with T-Mobile Arena, which I thought for the most part was like WWE territory. Like that's their go-to arena.
First
and-
Double or Nothing was at MGM Grand.
Yeah, and like they're like 2 blocks away from each other, and they only have a capacity difference of like 1,000 people. So I thought like there's no real like benefit to one over the other. It's got to be like a cost thing, and I'd imagine T-Mobile Arena is probably costing less. But it's just amazing to me that I figured, it's good on AEW to have MGM Grand as their go-to, while
MGM
WWE
Grand
has,
is such a better location just for like walking things, I think too. Like
I-
if
but
you've
like
been to
it-
Vegas, like the navigation would have been easier, and T-Mobile's kind of like, so it'll be interesting.
It is interesting. Like I just thought, but then they're also running the Michelob Ultra Arena for Dynamite, which is actually kind of a solid location. It doesn't hold that many. It's like 12,000 people it holds. So it's like it's actually still a pretty good venue for them. But
Yeah, originally I didn't know that they were gonna do the 3 shows. I just like had heard that they were gonna do Double or Nothing. So they're
All week in
gonna
Vegas,
spend the
buddy.
week in
well,
Vegas, man.
in 2020
Swear.
they had already announced that they were going to do the week in Vegas, and then of course it ended up not happening because of the pandemic. But that was the original plan, so I think
Oh,
they're just
sweet.
kind of making good on all that.
That's gonna be fun.
And then and then also by the time this comes, or by the time people are listening to this Monday, there's supposed to be a big announcement about
Like, are you
another
gonna say
event.
an announcement?
And I mean, the Bucks are the ones making the announcement, so you can kind of guess what it's going to be.
I already tweeted about it.
Yeah, like everybody knows what it's about to be. But it's the thing everybody has been asking for.
Fucking finally, you guys.
Yeah. So that's cool.
I've been
Well,
waiting.
building.
I've been waiting for this moment.
And I've been waiting.
And also, the other thing I wanted to talk about, though, was Thunder Rosa and Britt had a promo on Rampage this week. Britt kind of tore into her, but in a way that really makes me feel like Thunder Rosa's
Thunder's
walking
going over.
out.
Thunder
Yeah,
Rosa's
Thunder
definitely
Rosa's going to win
winning.
it.
Definitely gonna
Yeah,
win.
she's going to become the champ. I saw, it was funny that right after your tweet about YouTube this week that she takes a shot at YouTube. I saw people reading that for not what it was, because I saw people who were like, "Why would she diss on AEW Dark like that?" And I was like, "She was talking about it. She was talking about NWA."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think she's talking about exactly.
She's talking
Not
about NWA Power.
Yeah.
AEW.
But yeah, I thought this segment was great. I think it put over for people that are still on the fence. Yes,
Yeah.
Britt is the heel here. Like
Yeah.
everything she said is heel motivated. Like even the
Yeah.
YouTube comment.
And also those people that were like, they didn't build this match at all, but they've been building this match for
has been
so
building
long.
for over a year, guys. Like come on.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. I'm ready for this. And I felt like this is where they were going kind of all along. Like when people were like, "Oh, I wanted to see Thunder Rosa win the TBS championship." Like, first off,
that's Jay's belt.
like that's Jay's belt, and like, and it was like Thunder Rosa's going to beat Britt, and like very soon. So like, chill on that. And speaking of Jade, by the way, I felt bad for Jade because apparently she was supposed to get the Cody Vader on Dynamite this week, and that's why she came out so late because like
It wasn't working.
yeah, something malfunctioned.
Oh, shit.
So the
that's what I thought.
because Mark Sterling tweeted that he had a surprise for everybody, that he secured something, and it was supposed to be Jade rising from the entrance, and of course, like they even had smoke coming up from the middle, and it looked like she was about to come out,
man.
and then all of a sudden they cut to her Tron, and we come back, and then she ends up coming out the tunnel. So I can tell that was like a very, oh shit, just go out the other way.
Filmed it for one of these vlogs. Somebody's vlog will have it somewhere. Sammy.
Either way,
the Elite.
It used to happen by Revolution, man.
Either way, I think Cody's wish is going to come true, and she's going to get the Cody Vader.
So is that match on the card for Revolution, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah, I was curious about that too.
Yep. Yeah, they just announced it. They put up a graphic and everything. So
Let's go. Two
Yeah,
women's
that's good.
matches on Revolution. Two women's title matches on Revolution. We'd love to see it.
yeah, so that's Revolution.
2 women's title matches. Let's go, baby. Let's go. That's gonna be
Two
fire.
women's title matches, man.
And honestly, I said this on Day After Dynamite this week, but I really feel like if I'm looking at it at the right angle, the TBS title to me looks like the Attitude Era WWE Championship. Like when I see when she's like holding it at a certain angle, I'm like, it looks like she's holding like the world title. She really does have like the belt, and like good on Jade.
I don't know if this is hot take, but Jade's the best women's champion in the company, in my opinion.
Ooh, hold on a minute now. Hold on a minute
Sorry, Brit
now.
fans. Sorry, Brit fans. Jay's the best women's champion in the company, in my
And because it's been Thunder's time for a minute, also.
Yeah.
So let Thunder get that belt. It's her time.
All right. Well, the only other thing we got to say, because we got to wrap, is hey, come see your boys. All right.
Hey man, aren't we missing on out on a certain Swiss guy that is free?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we got to talk about that.
Wow.
I was gonna see. I got like 4 minutes. Yeah. All right. We got to talk to Cesaro. You're
4
right.
minutes. Cesaro is a free man. The world is about to be set on fire. Remember what happened with Bryan Danielson? You're about to see it exactly again here. Cesaro was going to wrestle every single wrestler that is craving and fighting and clawing to get a match with this man, and they're all going to be incredible. This guy has been in cruise control mode for 10 years in WWE. When he gets his foot on the brake, off the brake, it's going to be lit.
I want to see the Cesaro World Tour. I want to just see, you know what? Because everybody's talking about what promotion he signs with. You know what? Do a free agency kind of thing. You know, Jay White this up, right? Like, just go every single place you can. I just want to see the Cesaro matches, and because I can agree with the fact that
like All Japan or like Noah, like don't just go like to all the places people are saying to go. Like go to some other places so we can see you tear it up with some crazy people.
Make your mark, bro. Like he doesn't need to sign anywhere right away, in my opinion. I wouldn't be mad if he signed.
I wouldn't be mad at all. Yeah.
For my preference, I would love to see him do this phenomenal world tour for a year or so before he signs anywhere.
Yeah, honestly, give me the Claudio Castagnoli world tour.
Because I'm sure he saved like every single dollar that he made over there. Because he seemed like he doesn't be spending money, so I'm sure he stacked it.
This might be, people might disagree with me, but I would love to see him go to NWA, win that title, go and go somewhere else and win a world title. Go and
Cesaro
win all of the
World
titles, man. Come on, just do
World
all of the
Tour.
hits, man.
I do like that NWA gave the belt to Matt Cardona because he had the belt at GCW, and that's how you're supposed to use your world champion.
Yeah, it
Smart
is.
move.
Let's see. Let's read some super chats to wrap. But hey, I mean, it's crazy that you know what I want to see more of, because a year ago it came out Cesaro signed a new deal, and we were all like, damn, we're not going to see Cesaro like do anything else for a little while. And of course they gave him kind of the false flag push of he had the match with Seth at WrestleMania, worked Roman at the pay-per-view, and then I didn't even remember what brand he was on. He's apparently been feuding with Madcap Moss. So
he's on SmackDown.
Has he?
but either way, I appreciate the fact that WWE only gave him a 1-year extension. Give me more 1-year deals.
agree.
I would like to see more, hey, I'm going to do this for a year, see how it works out. If it doesn't work out,
I'm out.
go elsewhere, or I can sign a longer deal after this 1 year. More 1-year deals, because then you're not shorting people on things if you release them, and you're not holding on to people too long. More shorter deals.
I like more people finishing their contract too and getting out of there.
Yeah. R. Dickinson says, think Bernard Hopkins and or UFC pay-per-view same weekend. That makes sense. Why that's happening. Van Twinblade says, Effie's Big Gay Brunch, greater than anything Vince can book.
Definitely going to try and pull up at that at Dallas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mike says, Punk's about to win. MJF says through tears, you were my hero. Punk can't do it. MJF does something vicious to win, and he claims he out-punked Punk. Ooh. Douglas says, MJF
They're definitely
is
going
told...
to hug after this next match, after the match is over.
I don't see it.
MJF has also told the same story on Egos Amigos with Ethan Page, Ricky Starks, and Alley Cat, so nothing new, but still like where it's heading.
Yes.
You recycling bars out him?
I mean, the good news is, like, if you're recycling stuff that like 20,000 people saw at best,
the thing is that that's what sucks about the internet is there's too much stuff like that. That promo should be taken down from the internet so we can continue to use it forward, because nobody saw it when it happened.
And I mean, we're of course just joking. That promo was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That was fire. MJF is top 5 in the world on the mic. Nobody can take that away.
Future AW champion, by the way.
And
this year,
really soon, like Double or Nothing, I think.
Yeah.
And then Irene says, MJF's promo was awesome, but this isn't a double turn. MJF is too great of a heel, and CM Punk isn't a heel for leaving WWE for his own health. Yeah, I think he is gonna. I don't know. We'll see how he addresses it. I'm interested. That's the thing that all I need to be right now is interested, and I am interested.
I just think this Colt Cabana stuff must be so off limits, because they haven't even MJF hasn't even tried to murmur they got it tight. They got it so tight.
Damn.
I'm of the opinion though that since Punk got back, it's only a matter of time before he turns heel.
I think so too.
We'll see.
I think so.
Hey, this has been Grapsody. I want to remind everybody again, pick up the hoodie, swerveconfident.com, and then also check out the album. Comes out March 18th, Tears by Swerve City. This is also a really comfy hoodie. And so check that out. Thanks to our guest, Shane Swerve the Realist Strickland, for being here on Grapsody. And thank you for being with us on another Saturday. We'll be back next week, but me and Reg will be in Orlando. I'm going to do some testing of recording with 2 people to make sure that like looks and sounds good.
Left out, man. Just
Hey, I had a ticket for Phil, by the way.
Yeah.
I
Phil
did.
Was invited.
This is all my fault. I'm of course joking.
There's just so much going on, man. You got to pick and choose what great wrestling weekend you want to go to. What a problem to have, right?
I know, right?
I mean, look, we're probably all going to be together either at Dallas. I mean, I might.
Yeah, we're going to be together at Dallas.
I don't know. We're
Dallas, Vegas, somewhere.
We're gonna do the Shield fist bump somewhere. It's gonna happen.
Yes, the 3 of us will be. I promise
definitely.
that. Yeah,
definitely.
probably Dallas, and that's coming up here in a month. So we got time. By the way, I leave on the 2nd. I get in 31st. I leave on the 2nd. Right. So I will be in Dallas, but I'll be home in time to watch WrestleMania from my couch. But anyway, thanks for being here.
Couch.
Yeah, thanks for being here. This has been another edition of Grapsody. I'm Will Washington. He is Philip Lindsey. He is Righteous Reg. We will see you next time. Have a great day. Peace out.